It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
All right, and welcome to the Rabyd Nation. This is your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist, and a wonderful, blessed, happy Halloween to everybody. So thank you for stopping by and for this Halloween special. I'm still waiting for the lovely I Killed Earl, but that is such a normal occurrence. I'm now considering it normal. So happy Halloween, one and all. I kind of sort of dressed up for the occasion. So here we go. But welcome one and all. Halloween has changed a lot for me. It used to be like this evil devil's holiday when I was a Pentecostal, and I was always scared of it and everything else. And now it's really just a lot of fun, and a lot of people have a lot of fun with it. And so I'm kind of right there in the mixed with it. So, but yes, we will endeavor to go on here. Just a few reminders. I am not sure if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I will see how I feel after this stream. Plus, like, tomorrow is like my last day off before I have to go back to work. So for my vacation, so I may just want to have that be a relaxing day and rest and get ready for that. So yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I am taking care of me and taking care of whoever is there. There is still a goal in Super Chat as well. So if we hit that, I will wear the hat of choice. And I got a couple of special editions for this one. I broke out the red, white, blue cowboy hat. I don't know how that's going to look with this outfit, but there you go. So there it is. All right. Just checking. All right. Let's see who's here. Fred was always here doing the Halloween humbug stuff, and so I'm not sure what that's all about. Let's see. Undead Fred. Okay. Let's see. We have Blossom. So there's go. Who loves the devil. I think Fred Harvey gave him a suggestion to go get a room with him. And Michael is here. Evan is here. John from Holland is here. Oh, yeah. You're summoning the devil. Yeah. It's one of the great myths about atheists, isn't it? Like, we worship the devil. I'm like, I don't believe in the devil any more than I believe in God. So I don't know why I would be summoning the devil. So there's that. But well, it's like, it's one of those, like, this is atheist special holiday. And I'm like, I'm not sure it belongs to us. It's more of a pagan thing. And I'm happy that it turned into something else in the United States. It's a much more enjoyable, relaxing holiday, a lot of fun. Yeah, it's almost like we're atheists. And Senator Undead to you? Okay. I'm sorry, Senator Undead. But yes. So I think for me, Halloween has changed so much in my mind, and like, it's kind of sad because I think my daughter is just coming to the Christian silliness about Halloween, and so the kids aren't getting in costume anymore, and they're doing Christian alternatives and all this other stuff. And I'm like, Yeah, you're robbing your kids on a lot of the just fun childhood memories. But yeah, okay. So there you go. But yeah, your costume for today is people guessing your location. Let me know how that works out for you. Let me know how that works out for you. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so I don't know. All right. Well, but yeah, Satan Day. Happy Satan Day. Hey, Ron. Good to see you. Oh, man. But yeah, there's just been a lot of Halloween silliness. My town does Halloween on the last weekend so that the kids can trick or treat downtown and all that jazz. So, not really expecting any visitors tonight. So, a new chant to raise fangs. Okay, keep doing that. I don't know. We may have to summon Earl too. Gonna have to summon her. So there we go. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Halloween just I now consider a very fun day. I enjoy. I took this week off because I knew Halloween would be part of it, and just I wanted like just to enjoy the time of year. It's been like yesterday was gorgeous. We had some good sunlight when I went out, and the trees are all in red and gold and orange, and it's just really pretty time to be around in this particular neck of the woods. So it was just a nice time to get out a little bit and drive and walk around a bit. So, but yeah, it's just been, for me, the transformation has been like going, like I played Mike Warnke last week. So, and I used to believe a lot of that stuff very religiously, and I've had comments on this, like, really, people fell for this stuff? Yes, they did. Like Halloween was always one of those holidays that Christians avoided. So there we go. Oh, I think I have Earl. I will wait a few seconds to make sure that she is ready. So there you go.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh my god. My old laptop has officially like shit the bed. And so I'm doing this like, okay, I've got my phone, I've got my other laptop, I've got, the lights and shit, and I'm having to do it on my couch, and it's just like it's a whole thing. So
Yeah, we got Evan praying for you. He's summoning he's summoning Beelzebub using fangs, so you should be fine.
I was doing that art thing that I took you, that little thing took since like 11 today. It's wild how much time that shit takes. The little critter, man, it was just like I couldn't get his wing in the right spot, and it was a whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that later, so I'm going to brighten me up a little bit. But there we go. But yes, I'm the dark wizard supporting your former dark witchiness. So
I just did a lot of eyeliner and was like, okay.
There you go. It's fine.
I'm always dressed like I'm about to go to a funeral. So
you have the Wednesday Addams look down. You really do. Indeed. So
yeah, I did a white thing with so it looks like Morticia Addams. Right. That was about as close as I got.
There you go.
I hate dressing up. I feel like it gives me like I feel way too awkward, and I need like my awkward pillow. Like I can't even handle myself.
There you go.
I've never been able to go to costume parties or anything. It just
I enjoy them. So I think it allows me to be somebody else, and then I'm not my typical hide in the background kind of person.
There's no hiding me.
There's no hiding you. Yeah, that's kind of this there. All right. Well, I got all the introductory stuff done while you were figuring out a way to get in here. So I'm going to give the floor to you. This is all about your witchy woo days and why you gave
I
them
went
up.
you
Maybe
woo.
I'll let
Yes.
you,
I did
and
a
we'll.
disclaimer when I advertised. I did a community post or whatever on my YouTube, and it's like, okay, it's a wild story. People think that I'm just grumpy and it's just I've just got a shit personality. There's a lot of history that's kind of fucked up. Um, so uh, I started out as a Christian. My mom was, we went to a Presbyterian church, and the Presbyterian church on the beach is very like, hello, like, how are
Yeah,
you? If
yeah,
if you want to leave, they're like, okay,
sure.
bye.
Uh,
It's super casual. I mean, we still like, not necessarily in terms of dress and stuff, but theologically speaking, it's very, you sing a couple hymns. Um, the pastor's name was Spotswood Graves. I shit you not. I shit
oh,
you not. And
oh my goodness.
as he got older, he would just ramble. I don't know if you've ever heard the song by Lyle Lovett, but it's about being in a Baptist a Baptist church, and the preacher's going on and on and on and on, and a dove comes down. Like, everybody's hungry, they're like trying to get this guy to shut the fuck up so that everybody can go eat, and a dove comes by and sits, and somebody gets and eats the bird. Hilarious song. I'll send it to you later. But
Okay,
that
all right,
is
cool.
essentially what was, what would end up happening, is that he would just kind of ramble and, just sort of be odd. And then there was, it's what started to be the beginning of the end was that I started learning about, as a little kid, they kind of talk about evolution, but in a very loose stance. I didn't realize what an amazing education that I got in the South, because I actually was taught like sex ed 3 times, like once in elementary school, once in middle school, once in high school. I was taught, evolution. There was no hanky panky about like, you know, design or any of that kind of shit. But I distinctly remember being in Sunday school class, and they were talking about Noah's Ark, and I was like, none of this makes any sense. Like, how did the critters get to Australia? And so I
Yeah.
started asking questions, and they didn't like that very much. And this in particular, Spotswood was actually, this is unusual, but Spotswood was actually doing that Sunday school class for whatever reason. He would come in like really rarely, but just sort of pop in. And so, of course, he's rambling. And then I'm like, okay, well, none of this makes any sense. And then I was asked to not come back. um, and
Oh,
because I've always had angry bitch face, but when I'm confused, when I was a little kid, my mother used to have to go into all my classrooms first thing of school and talk to all my teachers about my concentrating face,
mm,
because they were all convinced that I was just a hateful bitch, but really I'm just sitting
oh,
there doing this. It's like, what's going on? But my face looks angry, but I'm not actually angry, but the teachers would read it as angry. And so I, yeah, got into several scuffles with one literal one where I actually tried to bite the teacher. I remember holding on to the leg of the table and like screaming at her. She should have retired like 20 years earlier. Anyway, so I was asked to not come back. I was a lead in the church choir, so I still did that. And then my mom got sick, and my dad had a stroke, and like all
oh,
this shit was happening in my family, and there was a big something going on in the choir, and I couldn't get there because my mom is literally bleeding to death, and my dad is a vegetable, and like not gonna can't go anywhere. And so the choir director messaged, she calls, and is essentially like bitching me out. It's like, well, if you're not serious about this, and I was like, what? And I'm like 11 or 12. Like this is,
Oh.
and I said, okay, then fine, I quit. And she was like, you're just gonna quit like that? It's like, yeah, bye. A full, I mean, I've had this attitude since birth, right? I just, like she lived like 2 minutes from me. She could have just come by and picked me up, but instead she's like questioning my, loyalty to the church choir or whatever. So that happened. And then about 12, my best friend at the time, we had walked to a little surf shop that was near her house. I'd spent the night over there. We'd walked over to a surf shop. We were walking on our way back. And as we're talking, she's asking me if like I would have sex before marriage and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I mean, you gotta kind of know like what you're getting into, right? Like, morally, I didn't have a problem with it. It's like, I was little, so it's like, if you love each other or whatever, like because fuck, what do I know at 12? So then she proceeds to tell me that this guy who I had met before, and he was a raging asshole. He told me, I went to her Bible study. She was a Baptist, and she went to one of those like fire and brimstone kind of Baptist. Like I was kind of freaked out at her because I went from like just chill and like none of that kind of business to be, all this hell and brimstone. It freaked me out. And I brought my own Bible that I got when I was confirmed, and so my little Presbyterian Bible, and and this dude looks over and he's like, "You've got the wrong Bible." And I was like, "There's a wrong one?" Like, I had no idea that there were like different ones, but I was like, aren't they all just the same shit, right? And so they've got all of these like Bibles for young people where they essentially translate for them what it supposedly means. And I thought that was a crock of crap. I was like, why are you like, isn't this something that people are supposed to sort of interpret for themselves? Like, why are you getting a breakdown of, and who says that's right? So like in my head, I was already sort of doubting all this shit. So we're on our way back, and she proceeds to tell me that this guy who told me I had the wrong Bible, who is 19, finger fucked her in the back of the church van on their way to some shenanigans. I don't know. And I'm like, because she had just gotten done telling me that she's like gonna save herself and all of this other shit, and I'm like, I mean, literally, like within the same paragraph, like all of this happened, and I was like, I was horrified, right? And so I'm like fighting back tears. I get back to her place. I call my mom. This is the first time I'd ever done this in my whole life. I called my mom and I was like, you got to come get me. You have to come get me right now. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'll tell you like what happened when you get here, but I need to get out of here like right now. And I got in the car, burst into tears, and was just like, what the hell? Yes, hello. You
pupper.
Yes, yes, I know. And it was the raging hypocrisy of that because it's not like PNV sex, that it doesn't count. And, chastising me for what I think is a perfectly normal, natural kind of choice. I'm going to hell, but statutory shenanigans are totally fine, right?
Yes, the double standard.
Oh, yeah. And so but this guy's 19 years old, and she was actually much younger than I was. And by like, we were in the same grade, but like she was essentially like a year younger than me. And so I'm 12 and this guy's 19. So my little brain just kind of went, and that was the end. That was the end of Christianity for me. 12 years old. I went outside. I had a whole conversation and told God he can go fuck himself. Like I out loud, like the whole thing was just like, if this is what you got, like I'm done with you. Fuck you. deuces. Like I'm out. And I figured if I didn't get like struck by lightning, because I said an entire slew of obscenities. I've had a potty mouth for a very long time. Remember the first time I cussed in front of my mother? Oh my God, that was hysterical. And I looked at her and she was like, "Where did you learn that?" It's like, you. Like, where do you think I learned it? Parents, cuss like sailors.
Parents, yes.
But so my dad had parents that were from post World War II Nazi Germany. They were not religious at all. And my dad told me, because I asked him one time, I was like, "Dad, why don't you come to church with us?" And he was like, "Well, the Volkswagen gods came down and told me that I am supposed to work on my cars on Sunday, and that's why I don't come." I fully believed it. I was little bitty at that point, but I was like, I fully like, oh, okay, that sounds reasonable. And, so Dad never went. He went on Christmas. He liked to light the candle and sing Silent Night. And he wore the exact same leather coat and the same tie for a decade or like 20 years. And that's what he liked to do,
Yeah.
But the minute that I was done with Christianity, I told my mom, I was like, I never want to go back. And she was like, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So
there's a lot of parents like that. So
yeah, I lucked out, got super lucky with that because I from hearing from what other people have had to deal with, like, yeah, so that was easy. So then I had a bunch of years where I did this like energy thing where it was like, we all sort of share sort of an energy. It's like connects the universe. And so that was sort of my introduction into woo. It was that I just came up with this thing in my head. And I'm like 12, 13, 14, So middle school, I'm full of piss and vinegar. I'm angsty. They call me the ice princess in school. I have friends, but like small circle. And then towards high school, I really started getting more into darker stuff. My aunties tell me that our family on my mother's side are descendants of witches. My uncle swears by it. The thing is that we do weird shit, like we conjure each other. So like I'll be thinking something, mother, something. A few minutes later, she'll call or text me. And it happens with such frequency that it freaks me out. My mom and I will be like shopping or whatever. We'll both pick up the same shirt. It's like shit like that, but it's all confirmation bias, right? Like it doesn't, like that's not, but in my head, it makes sense. So then in high school, I started drinking about age like 16. And my friends and I would, get hammered and giggle, sneak out of my mom's liquor cabinet and then fill it up with water,
Yeah, like they wouldn't notice.
Right, exactly. Well, my parents never drank liquor. The only time they drank it was like on holidays, so like Thanksgiving, Christmas. And so, it's like my mom drank wine, my dad drank Budweiser, my whole life. We went for a long time and they didn't notice.
Okay.
But started getting into like sort of seance-y kind of weirdness where I like me and some friends would, light a few candles and some incense and, call the corners or whatever. This is around the time that The Craft came out.
Okay. Yeah.
You remember that movie?
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie actually.
Yeah. And Practical Magic. That was another good one. So it was Charmed, watched a lot of Charmed. It was sort of the the time of the woo girl, like the strong woo girl,
Yeah, I
kicking butt
remember.
and killing demons and shit. And, so seemed cool to me.
Yeah.
Um, and then in college, I started, well, because I was in college, I was dealing with a lot of shit. So I was not psychologically prepared to all of a sudden have so much freedom. Um, I was a good kid, I got really good grades and stuff when I was in high school, but my parents were I won't say like super super strict, but they were like they didn't fuck around. My mama doesn't like she scares me a little bit. Um and so it kind of kept me, under the radar, but then all of a sudden I had all of the freedom, and pretty much like within the first month, I had met upperclassmen who introduced me to bartenders who, at 18 would let us drink. There was a bar on campus that had dollar pints, and they would put a pitcher of beer and put a straw in it for me. So I started
Okay.
I started out like I don't fuck around, like I don't half-ass anything, right? I went from kind like smoking to smoking 2 packs a day. I would sit at that this was when you could still smoke in bars. I would sit with I had, my hair was long, black, from tip to toe, sit there with a one of those cigarette holders like Cruella de Vil,
Okay, there you go.
thinking that I was hot shit. I would light my end of my cigarette with another one and just chain smoke the whole time. And got into a lot of drugs. Found out the hard way that pot does not
Doesn't react well with
doesn't
you.
vibe. That's a whole nother story. But have had some things going on with that. I met a guy. There was another bar that was kind of right outside. There was another town that was like right outside the college, and again, I was meeting sort of upperclassmen and then older people through them, and then hop, skip, and a jump, and I basically got access to alcohol at an unlimited sort of scale. And because of all of that, I also didn't realize, but I was dealing with undiagnosed bipolar disorder. So I was cycling, and I was rapid cycling then, and the alcohol
Okay.
didn't help. And then I
Nope.
got introduced to a guy who, so I was doing like Molly and sort of psychoactive sort of things, and cocaine. And that's when that started. So I'm dabbling with that for 20 years. It's always been my weak point. But so started with all these drugs, and especially with the Molly and the ecstasy, having sort of woo brain waves going on, like
Yeah.
made more woo happen externally too. So it was at this point that I've always been interested in like gemstones and stuff, and so I started getting more books on like stones. Certain stones have certain energy. You use certain stones and certain spells. Like rose quartz is always one that is used for like love spells and stuff. Um, the malachite is often used for things that involve money because it's green. So it's like sort of correlated sort of things. And you would make I did a lot with gemstones. I did a lot with moon cycles. My body naturally was always on a moon cycle, so I've always kept a moon cycle thing on my app or on my phone, because it would tell me like where my brain was.
Okay, gotcha.
So in my head, and I didn't go like a full astrology thing, but moon cycles were definitely part of that, and reading horoscopes and stuff like that. That always, I knew that they were kind of silly, but they always described me accurately, so I put more trust into that kind of stuff too, even though cognitively I knew that it was kind of weird, but because it always coincidentally seemed like it made sense, then it sort of reinforced the woo. Then the bipolar disorder got really bad. It got really dark. I was severely depressed. I was going into these cycles where I was staying up for 2 and 3 days, and then I'd crash. And I'm in school, and I'm trying to, do school things, and that's not working out so well. And then it was around this time that I started self mutilating, essentially. Taking hunting knives to my arms, and just, that's why I have these big tattoos, because it covers up all of that.
Okay.
So I started later in life, when I could afford it, to essentially do the same thing, but it's more socially acceptable.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I've got 17, 18 piercings, 10 tattoos. I've got a pain thing. So I found that when I'm happy, I get tattoos, and when I'm sad or pissed off, I get piercings. It's always in that cycle. And even that kind of stuff, it had to be like on the right, like moon phase and shit like that. So it was something that sort of passively stayed with me all the time. It was something that I didn't really have to think about necessarily. It was just sort of intuitive. And because I was logicking myself into making all of this make sense, because I'm a very analytical person. I'm super science minded. Even when I was doing witchcraft, which it got a little more extreme, like as I got older, I started doing glyphs, which is a whole process. And it's sort of like spell casting, but you make like little symbols and they all sort of correlate with stuff. It, again, just confirmation bias. And they got more elaborate over time, started doing lots of burning things. So you make a glyph and then you have to burn it to like release it into the universe, essentially. But I was an atheistic witch, so I didn't do any of the like pagan-y sort of stuff. Like Aaron Ra he does more, or did more of the pagan stuff, where there were sort of deities that represented certain things. There's a mother goddess and a father god, and the one's got antlers, and they point, and it's a whole thing.
Very well aware.
Yeah, I had renounced all types of god figures in whole, but I still believed in this energy woo stuff, where it was like, if it felt like I could manipulate this energy that everybody kind of shares together.
Okay.
And because that made sense, I did it for ages. Then I'd stopped doing, because the cutting and stuff I integrated a lot of that into it. And so it got pretty dark, where you're like smearing blood on stuff and then burning it. And it's a whole thing. When I was married, my ex was very rapey.
Okay.
And constantly. It was constant. And I took one of the extra bedrooms and put a huge glyph underneath the bed as like a protection spell, to keep him away from me. And it worked, but a locked door does too.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, but I felt so helpless. I felt so helpless, and so I was stuck. Because he was financially abusing me as well as psychologically and physically, and so it was just a miserable existence. And I was desperate to do anything to make it better and to not hurt anymore. But then when things finally blew up, I turned 30, or was turning 30. This all happened within like a 2-month span. I was turning 30. Trump became president. My boss walked in one day. I had seen one patient. He walked in and he said, "I can't do this anymore," and sent us home. My last paycheck bounced, so I didn't have a job. I found out that my ex had been cheating on me. He kicked me out of my own home, and so I was homeless. And then found that all of my friends were hanging out with him. So, I was alone. I had nobody. My life's falling the fuck apart. And I tried to off myself and ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks. So at that point, I was a shell of a human being. He had essentially broken a human. Psychologically, I was so fragile. They did testing on me. I don't remember any of it, but that's apparently when I got officially diagnosed with autism, and I didn't find out until a couple years later when I'm looking at the paperwork, my discharge papers from that hospital stay, that I had never read them. I just threw them in a thing and was cleaning stuff out, and then was like, oh, nobody told me. They might have told me, but I was so out of it that I don't even remember where it was that I was in the hospital. I was very medicated and did not give a fuck. So I didn't see the point in remembering anything. But it was that I sort of was wiped clean at that point and had to build a personality, and ended up with this one. But essentially had to build my ego back up into being some kind of human with agency and could make my own decisions for myself and stuff like that. And it was at that point that I kind of started dabbling in YouTube a little bit. So this was around like 2018, 2019. And then I think it was 2020, I officially had like made my YouTube channel, but I was still just sort of hanging out. But that's when I started getting into atheist YouTube, and then made the full shift into like not doing the like active spell casting and stuff like that. But even still, this is an example of it. So when I went to see Brian in Florida a couple weeks ago, he said something about, his car was shitty, and he was like, I wish somebody would just hit it, and then I could get it totaled and whatever. And I turned to him, and just instantly I was full of rage and was like, "Don't tempt fate." Don't you say that shit out loud. Don't tempt fate. And it freaked me out, because even still, like, it comes out in little things like that, where because in my head, it's like, if you say it, if it goes out into the ether, like that's part of the energy thing. And so if you put it out there in the universe, then you're inviting bad stuff,
Oh, yeah. I know the feeling. I have a different context for that, but Like I used to have parishioners talk about if you speak it into existence with God,
Right.
then it becomes reality.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty common practice across religions, I think, actually. So
Yeah. And I did, uh, I did a secret sneaky way. If I didn't say it, but I wrote it, I had a very severe stutter when I was a kid. So, um, I would get really mad and really frustrated and had a notebook, and I've done this my entire life. I've been like, this is apparently like advanced, like psychological sort of work that like you do with adults. But I would
mhm.
take a notebook and write everybody's name that I knew at the top of the page, everything that drove me fucking insane, anything that they did to annoy me or that they did to bully me or whatever, I would write it down. And I would like, I've done this since I could write. So we're talking like 4 or 5 years old. And I would write it all down, and then it was out of my head. And if it was
Mhm.
out of my head, because I couldn't say it, I couldn't tell anybody that they were driving me insane because I couldn't speak, or just would get stuck. And so it was so frustrating. And so I just wrote everything down, and then writing it down, it was out of my head. It was put somewhere. I never
Mhm.
read them when they were done, when they were full. When I was little, I just would throw them away or whatever, and just like put it at the bottom of the trash can so my mom couldn't get to it. As I got older, I would burn them. But
Okay.
I've filled notebooks and notebooks and notebooks. As an adult, I would write until my hand would cramp shut, and like couldn't write anymore. And I would just write every hateful, just unhinged shit. And it's
Okay.
dark in here. And I would write it all down, and then I wouldn't ruminate on it anymore. And it made me a more pleasant person. Just to Because if it was out in there, then my little brain was like, okay, it's put somewhere, and
Yep.
you never, the rule is that you never read it. You never let anybody else read it, because I would end up in somewhere for the criminally insane,
Yeah, that's correct.
especially like around the time that my, was doing the divorce thing. Like, whew, I thought of all sorts of fun things to do to that man. Um, and, premeditated murders. Gets you more time in the
Yes,
chamber,
they do.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
So, but yeah, I've done that my whole life, but it was about this energy, and I'm just putting it out into the universe. And
Yep.
but because it was written down and it was closed, it was like it didn't count. Logically, that
Yeah.
made sense in my head.
I'm sure there's a psychological. I know psychologists that have people do that. Like
Yeah.
they have you write stuff out and then
Hmm.
toss it away, and
Hmm.
it's a way of getting rid of it.
You write a
So
letter, to
yeah,
whoever, and then you just burn
toss
it
it
or
or
whatever.
burn
But
it or
yeah, I've
whatever.
been
Yep.
doing that since, and I knew there's a video of me reciting my alphabet at 18 months old. I was one of those weird freaks that like started reading really early. I was reading chapter books by the time I was in kindergarten and first grade.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
I was reading Black Beauty. My dad would, we would take turns doing bedtime stories or whatever, and I was long past, like, I remember in second grade they were all doing Frog and Toad, and this is actually why I ended up, having that unhinged moment attached to a table leg, because this teacher was convinced that I was just being obstinate, but I had already read the book and was bored to death and was just sitting there, and she didn't believe me. She just thought that I was, being a twit or
Very,
whatever. And
I had a very similar experience in my second grade, and then I finally got a reading teacher who's like, "No, he's actually reading at that level. He's like
Mhm,
reading at a fifth grade level, and we
mhm,
should just leave him alone and about
right.
reading, work on other things."
It
So,
was at that point that they put me in an advanced class
yeah,
because,
hmm
Frog and Toad, I was like, I was doing this at like 4. Like,
four. Yeah,
and this is a
I
second
taught
grade.
myself to read, so
Yeah.
my mother's still amazed at that. Like, She came in one day. You know how to read that already? And I was 4. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know how to read already.
I used to walk
So,
around because I had this severe stutter, and so I could read all this stuff. I made a pact in my head. I was like, if I can't talk, I'm gonna learn how to write and do
mhm.
it well. And I was obsessed when we learned about grammar and stuff. I was like all in, I was so tickled to death. You do the sentences and you break down all the parts of speech and shit. I was a master at that. But I used to walk around with a physical thesaurus because not only could I not say certain words like P's and B's and stuff would get
Yeah.
just there was just a clusterfuck in there, and it's so frustrating to have all of this stuff you want to say in your head, but your mouth just keeps repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and you can't, like, you have to like hit yourself or something to like try to get it to hiccup and then stop. I had a speech therapist. She used to have me do this. I sort of hold, and even still, if I get like, I start doing this kind of stuff because it kind of keeps it on
Keeps it.
track.
Mhm.
But I'd walk around with a physical thesaurus so I could find stuff that I could say. And then my spelling was shit because I was part of the 90s kids just sounded out. Like they didn't, they did this whole different teaching method where they didn't actually teach spelling rules. They just said sounded out. And I was like, so, my spelling was fucking awful. And my handwriting was flawless, but because I had such profound OCD, I would sit and do it over and over and over again. If
Mhm.
it wasn't on the right slant and perfect cursive, then I was erasing it, and I was erasing through the paper. And eventually I had to just, I've done this since I was tiny, where I had to force chaos. And this was another part of woo that happened, where I had to force this chaotic energy into my life. I still do that to this day because psychologically it actually does work. Like none of my plates are all different colors. None of my glasses match. None of my towels. If you look around my house, it looks like just a rainbow of fuckery just like exploded in here. Because my thought was, if something breaks or if something gets ruined, then there's no matching things. Because if there's a set of something, it's got to stay a set, or literally my life will implode. So part of the woo was like, I'm inviting this chaotic energy in order to keep my brain from getting so bogged down in rituals and
Mhm.
patterns and sets of things. And it still comes out in some ways. Like I have to have the set of books. Like I'm sitting here, I've got a bookshelf over there, and like if there's just one, it I think about it all the time. And so I finally, even if I don't read it, I just order the books and just keep them on there because I need to have the set.
Sounds very familiar.
Just unhinged shit. But yeah, so I've done that forever, where I just have to keep forcing sort of a chaotic sort of stuff in my life so that I can mentally get through my day. But it was always this like chaotic energy that was part of the
The
woo.
whoop. Yeah, it's like it's a language, it sounds like, that you're using to
Yeah.
kind of deal with problems. Like
Right.
I'm fascinated by this discussion because everything you've mentioned, I've also seen in the Pentecostal church,
Yeah.
but with a very different way of putting it. Like,
Hmm.
speaking, in faith instead
Hmm.
of doubt. I had people that wrote out all their bad feelings and burned them during a service.
Hmm.
So it's like it seems like woo seems to travel in pretty much every context. So
Well, and some of it is legitimate, like stuff that
it's like, yeah,
psychologists recommend, like the burning stuff and the writing
yeah,
things
that's a
down, and so that's what I mean. Like intellectually, and I came up with this stuff sort of, it just felt intuitive. I found out way later that it was like a thing that was, actually like studied and, had some, um, yeah, Robin, I've told Ed that you and R and Ra are the only two people that I've known on YouTube in all my years on here that did a like Christianity to woo to atheism sort of pipeline.
Yeah, it's a rare one.
Were you an atheistic witch, Robin, or did you have a mother a mother goddess sort of thing going on, or a like some witches have a some kind of deity that they sort of invoke, and there's plenty of them, so it's not necessarily that there's like a main one. There's one that sort of vibes with you, and you present offerings and things like that to them, and they're supposed to give you, good
Yeah, because
juju or whatever. So.
well, I've met like atheistic pagans before. Like they don't believe in the gods, but they do the stuff. But like, I don't believe in it.
There's a nature
Yeah.
paganism thing. That's essentially what I was doing. A nature moon rocks hybrid thing, and I never joined a coven, despite being offered several times. It was always something that I kept. It was just for myself. I was always kind of freaked out by it, and thought that people would just think that I was even more crazy. I mean, I've spent my entire life just like pretending to be normal. Please look normal. Please look normal. Like,
yes, pretending
it never
normal,
worked,
yes.
but like, in my head, it's just, the masking was so profound that I felt like if I outed myself as somebody that had these like weird alternative or beliefs, it would they just think that I'm even more unhinged than I already am. So
yeah, Robin says she used mostly the Greek gods, stuff like that. So
I thought she did more of a theistic
but
practice.
then Philbert kind of points out that I remember doing this in church too when I was a teenager. Like you write down your secret sin, put it in an envelope, and then burn it, hoping that it'll go away. So, and Philbert, of course, mentions the one that was always present.
Yeah.
no teenage kid can seem to get away from.
Right.
So,
no wet dreams.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have those. Okay, so planetary and ceremonial magic. Okay, so yeah, it's like I find this fascinating, Earl, because I see so much woo in religion now. Like everybody seems to have it. It's just a way of different expression. And the funny thing about psychology
they
is
put horoscopes in the newspaper.
Yeah, so
like
it's
sort
like
of, that kind of shit is sort of ubiquitous.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe an alchemist, but alchemy is kind of an interesting study in itself too. Like, still some things survived alchemy and ended up being chemistry. So,
right, I was actually a chemistry major when I first started college.
So
this is an alchemy symbol. It means to solve. Yeah. I didn't really care what went there. I just thought it was pretty. It doesn't have any like meaning to me. I'm not one of those like super cringe fuckers that are like, oh, this tattoo's for my, dead grandmother and shit. I'm like, why do you want death all over your body? Like, that's so freaky to me. Like, I pick stuff that just makes me happy. It's like, I love that. And then it was, that's what I would get. None of my stuff like means anything really. I always thought that was so cringe and weird.
Yeah, but Michael says he uses it in software coding too. Like if you can explain something to a rubber duck, it helps
baseball.
Problem yeah.
Baseball fuckers have me beat by a mile. Like, they got to do this whole like thing. Like, there's a whole ritual they do before they bat. It's the weirdest shit. Oh, there was, and there is stuff like that definitely, and actually I still do, um, that are, um, so like for one of the ones that has stayed is picking up your feet when you go over railroad tracks. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one before, but there was my family was evacuating from a hurricane, and we were all driving. We got the dog in the like. This is one of the like we never left. We always because our house was on real high land. It never flooded, and so if there was hurricane, we stayed. But this was, I think it was either I think it was Floyd, um, which was devastating. There were bodies coming out of grave sites and farm
Yeah.
animals that it like when the wind would change in the afternoon, you'd smell the death and decay. It was gross. But always picking up my feet going over a railroad track, and I was feeling lazy and didn't do it, and then within seconds my mom's car just shut down and we were stuck for several hours, and we had all like had too much water to drink or something, and so we all were like desperate and needing to pee, waiting for my dad's friend to come and get us because there's four of us and the dog and all of our luggage and stuff, so we had to find somebody with like a big enough car to like get us out. And so it was that one, again, confirmation bias, where it was like the one time that I didn't do it and then shit just went so wrong and it was so awful.
Yeah.
And I there's a set of railroad tracks that I have to cross quite frequently in town, and of course it's on sort of a weird little hill too, and there's a traffic light
Okay.
that's like pretty soon after it, and I drive a stick shift. So it's a little
Oh, okay.
precarious, but in my head it's like no, I must. Um, but if I don't get it like to be able to pick them all up, it's like the intention. Like I'm trying, so like the universe can't fuck with me because I'm still trying to do it in my head. It Yeah. Woo is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it's like it's all the superstitious stuff and the
Hmm.
rituals and stuff that people still do. Like
Hmm.
I same kind of thing. Like there's always these situations where I still do things a certain way, and it's like, why the fuck do I do that? Like,
Yeah.
and then it's because up here I was taught something that's the way you do it, and
Hmm.
otherwise bad things will happen to you. Like,
Right. Well, and
there's
and I have had a raging case of OCD and dermatillomania where I pick. I actually recently, like, there's these films that you can put on windows and stuff that are sort of decorative, and but it's like a privacy thing. And I remembered that I had one of those and put it on my mirror, like the whole mirror, so I walk in, I've got a mirror this big, and it's a little handheld one, so I can't use both hands to like fuck with my face, just to try to like keep myself from picking at myself. But a lot of it is OCD stuff. I'm a little odd in terms of my autism, because a lot of autistic people, they're scheduled. They have to
yeah,
do things at the same time every day. I don't do that. I do, fill in dental hygiene. I'm in a different office every day, and I like that. If I can't plan things too far in advance, because I will like get freaked out by it and then think about it too much and then talk myself out of it, and then I am such a flake. Like, I am so flaky. It's it's awful. So I tell everybody, like, if you want me to do something, call me like 2 hours before and say, "Hey, I'm doing this thing. You want to come?" And then I don't have time to let my brain
yeah,
do its weirdness.
process it. Yeah.
Right. I just like, okay, I can put on my makeup and then I go, And so I'm super spontaneous, but I'm very ritualistic. I have like I take a shower in the exact same way every time. If I drop the soap, Like, I have to consciously think to myself, okay, your day is not going to go to shit. It's
Yep.
okay.
I know what you're
Nothing
saying.
bad's going to happen. You know, you will be fine. It will be okay. But in my head, it's like I have just fucked myself for the whole day.
Yeah.
And obviously that doesn't make any sense, but so I think that the OCD also fed into the woo, which fed into the OCD, which fed into the woo, and became this
Yeah.
sort of vicious
It's
cycle.
Yeah, it's like for me, I think autism kept me in my religion because that was my addiction, and
Mhm.
Pentecostalism fed all the woo buttons too. Like
Right.
all that stuff kind of resonated in my brain as well. And so I'm like, if it works for me, it works.
Hmm.
And it became more pragmatic than actually intellectual believing in God for a
Hmm.
long time. Like it was just something that I had to do. But the woo part, definitely there. Some of the
Hmm.
stuff you're talking about, it just takes a
Yeah.
different form.
Yeah,
It's
and it
just a
was
different.
it was all confirmation bias. Like if you
Yep.
already think that your day's going to go to shit, then you sort of, your whole attitude is sort of shitty, and then that sort of makes your whole day kind of shitty because your attitude is sort
Yeah.
of shitty, and yeah, it
Yeah.
just feeds into each other.
And then
But then in
you
your
just
head,
couch
it's
it.
like, no, it's because I dropped the soap. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. But it's all your attitude out from start, and then
Right,
you don't notice the fact that a lot of good things probably happened to you that day until you think about it. And then
right.
I used to have people talk that way and put it in different religious terms, like you got to do. They always had their, I got to pray and do my devotions or my day goes to hell,
Hmm.
kind of thing. And I once I came out of all that, it's like I still have my stuff, like I still
Hmm.
do things, certain conversations, I still go down certain paths because it's like it's still the woo part that's still
Hmm.
there. So
Yeah, like I had probably the best week that I've had all year. Was it last week or the week before? Every job that I actually had a lot of jobs lined up. I had a job on the Tuesday that they canceled last minute, which I get paid for at 100% because and then my favorite office called me that morning and requested me, and so I got paid twice in the same day. And then my other jobs, all my patients were great. Like I had some interpersonal stuff where I actually like said the right thing and didn't put my foot in my mouth and was,
wow,
so like
wow,
everything went well. But in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, so the universe was just giving me like a whole bunch of good shit, waiting for the shoe to drop.
yeah, waiting to get fucked over. Yes,
Right. Because the
exactly.
energy of the universe was like in my corner.
That's it's kind of
And then I'm
a
waiting for, shit to just blow the fuck up. And
yeah, it's like
that's not how things work.
yeah, I think Aaron Robb mentions that when he talks about like karma. He's like, that's like the
Right.
last belief that went
Hmm.
because like you can actually string together good days in a row. You can have bad days in a row, and it doesn't have a damn thing to do with the energy of the universe. It
Right.
just might have a lot to do with your attitude. And then
Right.
you
It's like,
just
oh, the previous day was good. So like that,
I
cognitively
gotta
would make me like have a good day,
have a I gotta have a good day or a bad day or whatever. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's kind of a human thing, and I think that's why it's in almost all human religions. Like we have ways of tricking ourselves into thinking about things. And I don't know, for me it's kind of worse because I'm kind of like you. I do have to I don't know, I don't have daily rituals, but I
Hmm.
do have routines. Like
Hmm.
when I am doing something, I follow it the same order every
Well,
time.
that's
Very
I call that ritualistic. And then
Yeah.
the people that have to schedule stuff, so they're like, we
I
do this
can't do
from this hour to this
it.
hour. We do this on this specific day. We do, my dad, for instance, like he wants pizza on Fridays,
Eh,
every
yeah, I
fucking
can't do
Friday.
that.
Yeah,
No.
that drives me insane. I cannot do that kind of crap. I if something is in my phone and it's planned and and I'm just not feeling it that day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna flake out. I'm totally gonna flake out. I have to do it last minute or yeah, my brain's gonna my whole life is nothing but self-sabotage.
Yeah, I have to watch that too because I'm always thinking things are going to go off the rails, and so why bother? And then
Right.
it's the why bother that's actually killing me, not
Hmm.
the actual world that
Right.
I live in. It's
Right.
like I just don't do something because I don't think it's going to work out,
Hmm.
that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
if I
So
can't do it right and do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all, which has cost me jobs. You know,
yeah, yeah, it's
it's like
and I get that. Like I had that this last week before I went on vacation because I took a while on a mod, like because there was so much wrong with it, like things were broken on it, so I fixed
mhm.
them, and that all takes extra time. I'm like, why'd you take so long on this? And it's like, because
It had to be perfect.
I'm not going to leave it in the shit condition it was in when I
Right.
first saw it. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got, I said, I get the speed thing. I get it. But that's why I'm on the mod team because I'm a
Hmm.
detail oriented person. And I'm not going to leave this fucking bad.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
a
am a
entire
stickler for the
conversation.
rules. Especially like one of the main reasons why I want to get out of dentistry is because people do not seem to have a set of professional ethics, and mine are rigid as fuck. I There are certain things that this is, that was not the way I was taught, and because it wasn't the way I was taught, I ain't gonna do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and lots of people, they want to break the rules. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to do stuff that is blatantly illegal,
Yeah.
from
I'm the same way.
dentists and office managers and stuff like that. I have this very rigid sense of justice and ethics, and I'm, talk about, um, you know, Southern, etiquette and shit. Like, there are just some things that you just do not do, and if
Correct.
you do them, I will think that you are trash. And
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That's kind of the way it is.
you walk around in my house with your shoes on? Mm-mm, nope. And
Yeah.
them's fighting words. We're not, no.
Yeah, I always took my shoes off. I take my shoes off up here too because we get into the winter season, and I think it's just a habit.
Yeah,
Like you don't want to track somebody's house up, so you just kind of
right.
drop them off at
And I
the
gotta go in
door.
the
But
mud because of my dog and all that kind of shit. But like in
uh,
in my head, there are, like, I don't touch the bottoms of my own feet. And
oh,
if I do, like, if I pay my toenails or whatever, like, I am super cognizant that I don't touch anything before, like, I have to wash my hands. I wash my hands the minute that I come home, doesn't matter what I've been doing. My hands get washed the minute I walk home, and I do not touch the bottoms of my own feet. Doesn't even, like, I wash them in the shower, and then that's it. As soon as they touch out of the shower, it's like they are dead. They do not exist. And I've been that way, especially since dental hygiene school, because you are taught, like, people are
yeah,
gross, like, people are fucking
yeah,
disgusting. And but it seriously, like, if something falls on the floor at work, it's like it died. It does not exist anymore. It is gone. It is gone to the devil. It is, there ain't nothing there. Like, unless you got gloves on, you ain't not picking that up. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I've
I
seen
don't.
so many people, like, they, pick up shit with their bare hands, and I'm like, I'm just horrified. Like, what are you doing?
What
They
are
go
you
to pick
doing?
up trash. They don't have gloves on. I'm like, I just, yeah,
It's unreal to you. Yeah.
yeah, my brain literally shorts. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Michael, I think actually autistic people are higher for deconversion. I think they might be. Um,
from my research, there's most autistic people are atheistic. A lot of it is because they can't envision something they haven't seen.
yep.
Um, and I have that problem a bit with, obviously everybody's empathy is sort of, it's higher the closer people are to you. Um,
Mhm.
Mine is real narrow. Um, and uh, it because you can't conceive of something that is sort of this amorphous thing,
Yeah.
because it literally doesn't make sense to you. They but OCD and autism are very closely linked, and so people get into an OCD situation with religion, and because
Hmm.
religion's very ritualistic, and so you do the same things all the time, and it feeds back into the feedback loop, and there tend to be two types of autistic people. You either get the super empathetic to the point of like being empathic, almost like they literally are feeling things with other people, like if you're hurt they physically hurt. I'm not one of those. I'm on the opposite spectrum. You either get test really high in that like empath sort of thing, or you test really high on the like sociopathy type level. I'm on the opposite side.
Okay.
um, it is what it is. I have a really hard time putting up with whiny sort of bullshit. I can't process it. When I used to have a friend that she'd come over and she'd start blithering on and crying and stuff, and I wouldn't know what to do with her. Like, I am not the friend that you come for hugs. um
Yeah.
if you want shit fixed, if you want something fixed, I'm your girl, right? If you need somebody to tell you like what's the real, that's when they come to me. Don't come to me for hugs. I'm not squishy. Um, it's been a thing with every relationship I've ever had. I'm just not your girl.
Yeah. I being a pastor, I always had to deal with people that wanted hugs, but then my touch sensitivities are complete polar opposite to you. So,
Yeah, it
so
physically
hug,
feels like my skin's on fire.
yeah. So
I'm not a cuddler. You know,
yeah.
like,
And so,
touch
and I
me.
am, so I actually kind of, it's one of the few things that draws me to humans still.
Mhm.
So, so it's kind of
Every
like,
once in a while I'll feel a little touch starved, and then I've got a friend who is like 6'6" and like 300 pounds, and he literally says he's like squeezing my pieces back together. And he hugs me so hard my back cracks, like it's so
and that's
I I
okay.
call I
Yeah.
call him, I get a hug or two, and then like I'm good for like a year.
There you go. Yeah. So this is why I still have regular visits to my daughter's house to hug all the grandkids and my
Mhm.
mother and all that
and
stuff.
and what's
So,
weird is that I physically touch people all day long for
yeah,
work, but it's on
yeah.
my terms. And to me, when I work, they
It's a
become a
business relationship.
disembodied
Yeah.
mouth.
It's a business relationship. So you kind of can perceive it differently. So,
Yeah. And I
and
and I,
Fred once in a while.
can talk to them, and I'm actually really good with really anxious, very fearful patients, because I know what it's like to be scared of
Hmm.
something silly, when you literally pick your feet up, to go over railroad tracks because the world's going to end otherwise. It's like you know I can be on that level, and
Yeah.
be helpful that way.
All right.
Ah.
Well, Cranky was trying to scare us. I don't think it worked. We're too we're too familiar with you now, Cranky. We just when tentacles show up in the stream, we kind of know who it is. So,
Yeah, 13 little mittens, man.
yeah, I know that was a great conversation. Like 13, really? So you got one unmatched set that you go back and
Right,
forth
yeah,
on.
yeah, in my head, because everything's got to match, like, then you'd have one extra one. I
You couldn't
can't do
do it. You couldn't do it.
it.
You can't do it. That's what's horrifying about the Eldritch gods, right there, is that they have odd numbers.
13. There's not
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness! But
because
yes,
it's a, yeah, I mean, it's still like, it's a, if there's that sort of like yin and yang. I actually have a tattoo on my lower back. It's an MC Escher piece because I'm a cultured hoe. Where it's an angel and a demon tessellation, so it's the duality sort of, both sides of people. Everything has to have its opposite. And I think that would lead us into today's art piece, actually.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah. Remember?
All right, well,
It's
yeah, I got it.
nega fangs.
There we go. There's Megafang. You guys wanted a scary fangs, so Earl came up with this one. So there you go. And I actually
go ahead.
we had a long discussion about how to do this because
Mm-hmm.
you and I are both of the opinion that Fangs as a cute bunny is much more him.
Yeah.
Because here, let me show that this is one of the very early days of Fangs. Like, this is as scary as I think Fangs ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he morphed into this on the one side. And I thought
your reasoning was good. Made total sense to me. If you told me that people that are just seeing your channel for the first time, because you were wanting like a mascot, and so
Yep.
you didn't want to freak people out with something scary. For people that are just meeting you for the first time, you wanted something that was more kinder, gentler, to be a little squishy with new people.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I felt like I'm dealing with people that are deconverting, and maybe a bunny with fangs that looks like half devil was a little bit over the top. So,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Fangs works a lot better. He's a great mascot. I've enjoyed him ever since we kind of got him to the cuddly part of things. So yes.
For the audience, the story behind this is that Yahweh zapped Fangs so hard that he split, and that is his altar, like his little psyche sort of split into, and we were calling it nega fangs, like in what's that, Street Fighter or whatever,
Yeah.
or Scott Pilgrim versus the world, when he has to fight his evil alter ego.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we got to the scary looking Fangs. Is it's not Fangs, it's more of his alter ego, what he would be if he was on the other side,
right,
kind of thing. So, because we had a long debate about what scares us, and
this was sort of because I forget what like creepypasta, salad fingers and the Slender Man and all that kind of shit, that always freaked me out a little bit. And then his mouth actually, so there's a one of the covers of a Marilyn Manson album is his, and it's like his teeth are sort of like being pulled apart, and they're not really well defined, and something about, like, I find body horror really, really freaky. So like in The Exorcist, the entire movie was not scary to me. As soon as she started walking upside down and backwards down the stairs, I was completely unhinged. In The Ring, when she's coming out of the well and her leg goes over and her foot is right here, like in,
oh, okay,
and it's all jerky and stuff. The Fly, when his like body starts coming apart and his fingernails start coming off,
yeah, you're done with that at that point.
So doing
I don't know.
Was a little uncomfy.
Wolf thinks the rest in peace sanity part was pretty cool too. I think that's pretty cool too, because that's like like Earl's picking my brains, like, what phobias do you have? And I'm like,
And I
well,
asked several people, and somebody
I'm
said
like,
hospitals, and somebody, so it's like
yeah,
nobody was really
kind of
coming up with
boring.
anything, and I was like, okay, well, we'll see, we'll just see how it goes, and that's what I came up with.
But yeah, but it's like my phobias are so boring. Like I don't like crossing bridges, water over my head,
Hmm.
or heights, and so yeah, it always made crossing the Mackinac Bridge in between the two peninsulas a real experience for me. So
Hmm.
because
I
all three of them are right there.
Yeah.
So
Growing up, I literally had to cross like 3 bridges just to get to school because I,
yeah, you probably got over
grew
it.
up on
Yeah,
barrier islands, so you have to hop over several to get where you're going.
yeah. See, yes, I like the haircut too. By the way, John, I thought that was a nice touch. The nuke on the top of
The
the
nuke on his
forehead.
head, yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
that
I
was a
was
good
trying
idea.
to figure out because I originally started with a zipper, and it was gonna, sort of like pop out that way. But then, like I said, I was doing that little critter since 11 this morning, and I ran out of time, and I was like, okay, and I just thought, how about a little like nuke, like on top of,
Yeah, there you
and
go.
he came out of that little,
So there you go. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate you. I think Philbert got that too. So
oh, good.
that was a good membership gift right there. So
Hmm.
thank you.
Oh,
All
and
right.
yeah, updated
Banner. Yeah,
your banner. Yeah.
I got that too. So, but yeah, it's I hate YouTube because they don't allow you to do like different things for different devices. So,
Hmm.
like most of you are going to get the name in the middle if you're doing it on PC,
Hmm.
and you're not going to get the rest of it. You have to like watch it on TV and get it up on a television to get the whole thing, and
Hmm.
that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, and I was trying to, because you can't really condense it 'cause it looks funny, and then all the things are super tiny.
yeah.
And
So I'm glad you left it the way it was because I like this picture. It's just if
hmm.
you're watching me on PC or your phone, you're just going to get the name
Hmm.
and a little bit of it. But you've also revamped me a little bit in that one, and
I definitely did. Yeah, that took a long time. Even though, yeah, I took your Han Solo head, and it is pretty cool how with digital art you can sort of Frankenstein things together. So
yeah, I love that part about it. So yeah.
yeah, so I took your that and then separated the hat and the body from the original one of that, and then did your tie and in the red, so you'd match things. And but doing when you do stuff like that, it kind of fucks with the image. It makes it yes, Human Centipede. Holy shit, I couldn't even get through that movie. It haunts my dreams. That is so gross. Huh. Um,
Yeah.
but it fucks with the image a little bit, so it makes it blurry. So then you have to go through and like tighten up all the edges of everything to make it real crisp again. So it's a lot of detail work to splice images like that. So you end up doing just as much work as if you drew it from scratch, but at least having the because like I know because doing it at an angle like that, the proportions of your arms and stuff changes, and how things are the
Yeah.
proportions and the viewing angle. So if you've already got that sort of locked in, because sometimes I'm not perfect, so sometimes I gotta like trying with the horror fangs to get his wings in the right spot. Holy shit. That took a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah. I can see, you can kind of see where that because the depth perception has to be right, so they have to be
And he's
slightly
at a weird
angled.
angle, right? So I
Yeah.
drew him because I wanted him to be kind of like,
Hunched
I wanted
over.
all these long limbs and this, sort of like creepy kind of thing. But then because his shoulders were at an angle, then and I drew the wings just sort of straight on, not thinking because
Yeah, it doesn't.
I always do it in pieces and then layer it on top of each other, because the image just ends up a better more
Well,
cohesive sort of thing.
I really
And so
actually like
then
the
I had to,
same.
kind of get it that way and then turn it down. But then that kind of makes everything a little bit blurry. So you got to go through and like do all the details all over again. So
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
yeah. Well, I think that's the kind of thing that I think we all learn. Like I used to think, oh yeah, writing will be easy, but the more I got into it, like if I really want to do something good, that's a lot of editing. Like you spend more time on the editing floor than you do with the
Yeah.
original. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
A lot. There's a
I
a
keep
lot
I
of
kill
editing.
it as human. I don't
No,
know.
I'm the Goblin Queen.
Yeah, she's the Goblin Queen. So she's in here. I mean, like I have her in the banner.
Yeah,
Like,
all
but
the way
yeah,
on the edge.
she's all the way on the edge. We have there's a lot of representation here, of course, from all of you. We
Hmm.
wanted to make sure we had a banner with a lot of the regulars in it. I don't know if we can keep up all the time. So if you don't see yourself, don't feel bad about it. Like we
Hmm.
love you just the
And
same,
some
but
of it, because my brain works in mysterious ways. So there's a lot of like taking their tags and then like Ron at Indian Lake. So there's a little Indian head and he's in a drop of water there. In
okay,
the,
yeah. Oh yeah,
so
right
stuff
over
like
there on the right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so stuff like that. I it's a little it's kind of a stretch, but in my head it makes sense. But yeah, most everybody is represented. I think I went through and um, was trying to go through, but you don't keep your chats. You don't keep your live chats, so it's hard for me. I have to
Hmm.
go through the video itself, and then anybody that gets popped up is I try to
Yeah,
integrate.
I think I save them. I don't know if they appear to other people though. Like if I
Mm-mm.
work on them with the studio, I can see them, but I
Hmm.
can't. It gets frustrating to keep them sometimes too. That's a lot of extra. But yeah, you can watch the video and usually see them. But
I mean, I tried to do it on the one you just had on
uh,
Tuesday, and there's no live
oh,
chat.
hmm. Oh, is that the one that I had to? You know what? I
It's
bet you
happened a
that.
couple of times that I've tried to go
I think
through
what it
and
is, that's the one I had to restart because I bet you that's the one that I had to
no,
restart.
this was the full
Okay.
video.
All right. All right. All right. It looks like I think we hit our goal too.
Woo.
And so, and the banner is epic, so that's good. Triple E gave another one, so
Yes,
that's
the mighty
cool.
Philbert is there on the left.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing
He's
it.
now he. Yeah, Mighty Philbert's now. Yes, you have muscles, so there you go. You have muscles. He thinks that's funny. All right. Well, let's see who won because I think I hit my goal
Yeah.
already. And it's the Holy Bunny hat. Imagine this my surprise whenever I put it on. So let's see how does a Holy Bunny hat work with
Evan,
the
you're
Dark
the turtle.
Age? Yeah, yeah. If you want to know, yeah, if you're the turtle, yeah, Evan, that's you right
Yeah.
there. That's your one. But yeah, that's you. So yeah, I also think this too, like chat replays. I've had to try to find them and they disappear.
Hmm.
So like I get it because I click the little box that says allow the replay, like allow the
Hmm.
chat replay, and sometimes I don't get to chat replay, and I'm like, oh, it's my channel, like
Hmm.
like I don't know what happens there, and I think YouTube has a glitch or a bug or something because
Hmm.
it works sometimes and then sometimes it doesn't. So I actually had to go back the Mike Warnke one because
Hmm.
I put ads on after the stream's over just to
Hmm.
make a little extra income
Naturally.
and of course it said it flagged this one. I'm like, what did it flag me for?
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a 3 second, no, it's like 10 seconds worth of music from their old radio program from 1979
Oh
that
my
is
God, the
copyright
porn music. Jesus.
and I
They seriously, they flagged the porn music for real.
yeah, but
Good
it
God.
like this guy has a copyright on a section of that, like it's like 15 seconds, so I had to have
Mm-hmm.
YouTube remove the music without removing the audio. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've had that happen a couple times. It's usually music in other people's videos that gets flagged. It's not me. So
Right.
all I have to do is remove that crap, and then it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, now see, because now I have to say, I think you might be right here, Michael. I think my look has now changed because now I'm the Grand Wizard of Fangs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but yes, yeah, that was the problem with the Mike Warnke stream. And I had a comment on that because somebody was talking about, I can't believe that people used to believe this shit. And I said, they still believe this shit. What are you talking
Mm-hmm.
about?
Yeah.
Like it's the whole, like I think it was the Mary Shelley one got me the most. Like somehow she went out and got her old husband's whatever, or some person.
Right. And doing
And I'm like,
cocaine, even though
okay,
cocaine hadn't been invented yet.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's like there was all these claims in there, and I'm like, I know that half of this is bullshit. Like
mhm.
straight up, grade A didn't happen,
Yeah, and like
and
easily looked up too. It
easily looked up now. But 1979, no internet,
that's true. Yeah.
so you can't
Forgot
look
about
this
that
shit
part.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally have to go down to the library and check all the claims, and
Hmm.
that's going to take you a long trip. So, like you,
An effort and but
yeah,
that guy
well, it's
couldn't say, like, he was pronouncing everything weird. Was that the breast episode?
brush the brush traditions. Yes, we got to have brush traditions.
Oh
Like
God.
I'm down with brush traditions, whatever you want to do. So it's like
Yeah.
so it's like, but yeah, it's whenever I do a reaction to something that old, I have to remind people, like, there was no way to fact check this very well back then. Like you had to wait. And like if he wrote the book The Satan Seller, you had to wait until like Cornerstone magazine 14 years later writes an expose
Hmm.
about how it's all bullshit. So it's
Yeah.
like people would get away with their bullshit for like a decade before somebody would call them on it. So it's
Hmm.
like that's not necessarily true. Like,
Right.
somebody says something today and you got 5,000 warriors looking at it, doing it. So,
Hmm.
and they definitely they'll change it and get rid of it and like, oh no, that's not true.
Hmm.
That never happened. It's like,
Yeah.
I think that's why politicians have trouble these days, because they think nobody remembers or nobody can fact check them in a
Well, they're
second,
all old as dirt. It's like
and they don't live in
they
that world.
remember
Yeah.
1974,
Yeah, they're still acting like nobody can look this stuff up, and so it's
Right.
like, I'm Generation X enough to know that I can be fact checked. So I'm
Right.
always careful with my language anymore. It's like, I think that's true, but somebody can certainly correct me if I'm wrong. And that has happened on this channel several times because I have the chat is always good for that. I have a lot of different types of experts in the chat, so they look stuff up for me. And Azo, when
That's
he's
why I
here,
love your
holy
chat so
crap!
much. Yeah.
Yeah, but Azo, when he's here, like if
Mhm.
I need a Bible verse,
Yeah.
3 seconds later,
Quick.
it's in
Yeah.
front of there. He's
Absolutely.
got that shit down. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I've absolutely, I'm glad we're kind of honoring everybody here, because a lot of you guys just make this a wonderful channel. Like my streams are very enjoyable for me. Like when I first started streaming, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hate this shit. But it's like now it's one of the most enjoyable times of my week is to stream. So
It's kind of my therapy.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's
just
like
it feels like a little family. Don't get me all squishy.
bunny hats and birthday suits and fangs heaven. Yeah, probably. Like we haven't developed an afterlife, have we yet? Have we developed an afterlife for fangs followers yet?
Oh,
I mean,
huh.
it's we have a lot of missing pieces of our theology that we're kind of making up as we go.
Yeah,
So,
we're going. I mean,
so there you go.
cults kind of do that anyway. You know, they just sort of make it up
Yeah.
as they go along. So, you know, we're just going with tradition.
Oh, yes, only brush traditions. Booby toots. Okay, that's what Michael said. There we go. Have to have booby toots. All right. Beckard Farm remembers. Okay. Oh, you're going to start to charge. Going to start to charge for your information, Michael. Yeah, Michael, I think you were helpful on the one video I did where math proved God. You were very helpful on that one. And then somebody mentioned about something about computer code, and Michael, of course, raises his hand instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I know all about that. That guy's full of shit. So, so it's like,
I love that. So, you know, from so many different people, I get inspiration from, you know, whatever little unhinged conversation that we're having. And like the, you know, nibbled on your heart, I think that came from Evan.
oh,
You know,
that
like
was
there's so
Evan.
much stuff that comes from hanging out in the chat.
Yeah, Evan has done a lot of stuff, and like already it's like we need a hair heaven or hair M. So yeah, what is it? What are we doing here? Hair heaven or hair Aram? He does that kind of stuff, and the nom nom and the nibble on your heart and all this other crap
I
came
think
from Evan.
the nom nom was mine.
I think that was yours, yeah. And then he came up with a nibble on your heart, and because he was thinking back to his Christian days, let Jesus into your heart. And he's like, no, we'll just have Fangs nibble on it. Yeah. It's good. And then Cranky, of course, had to yell about Fangs stealing his stash. And I said, well, you didn't leave out the proper carrot offering. What are you doing? You got to put the circumcised carrot on top of your stash so he'll take the carrot instead of your stash. What are you doing, Cranky? Yeah.
Yeah, Cranky's up there in the corner. I guess I gotta put 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I gotta put 5 more tentacles in there somewhere.
Well, they're somewhere. There might be smaller tentacles in a different place. We'll just put it that way. So.
Oh my.
So.
I love the one that I did with him under. Was that the Jonah and the whale one? Where Cranky's got the I put Cranky with the mermaid where he's stolen a winch.
Yeah, it's right there up in the corner. Yeah. I have that one. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces, by the way, because I can actually use this several different ways for thumbnails too. Like I have done. I
need
already.
To give you, because I updated, because I've spent the last several weeks cleaning up all of them and found a couple little hiccups here and there. And then for the first time ever, Adobe kicked one of my the little exclamation point there with the little fishy there. It rescinded my thing. I was a little annoyed. So I had to find an alternative.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's still, this is the one I have labeled as final form. And I think you said that 3 months ago. And I realized now that it was never going to be the final form. It's just never going to happen. Now
I have it absolutely 100% totally finished. I was going through, because when I'm doing them because I do them in Adobe Express and generally on my phone, but then when I go to put them on, like when I get them out of that and publish them or whatever, I can see more of the details. So if there's something like just in a wrong little spot, or there's a little haze somewhere there, or something's not overlapping correctly, I can see it then. And because I am a perfectionist, tis what it is. I am my own worst critic.
Hey, Tux. Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, I always like it when Tux shows up. Yeah. Mostly because I understand a lot of the backstory now more, because people have told me. So yeah, it's like I don't know. We've kind of I don't know. I really enjoy the streams now because we do have this good Isle of Misfit toys going on, and I'm glad we put out as many as we can in the banner. And this banner is alterable, so if you
Oh yeah,
become like
yeah.
if
I've got the original one, and I can just keep adding little, just,
people, so
yeah. It's super easy. I just have to, remember everybody, which there's a lot going on in here, and then find something that represents them, at least in my head.
yeah, and so yeah, it comes out in different ways. Like
Mhm.
I still remember when you said, "Hey, you look like a night elf," and that's just it's stuck.
It's stuff.
It just stuck in there.
You
I am.
do. I mean, you just do. It's and now it's you're wearing the bunny hat. It's canon.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
I
I
mean,
love
I
that I can put you in different, put both of us actually in different outfits and contexts and all kinds of stuff. I will never be bored. There's always the many continued adventures of Fangs will go on in perpetuity, I think.
yeah, it's kind of that's probably something I don't know if I've talked about on the channel as much, but you and I kind of came to an agreement. Yeah, we're working on the book, but we're also like the occasional short story of a modern Fangs dealing modern situations will come
Hmm.
out, I think,
Yeah, like the
because
new art piece, it needs to be its own,
yeah,
short story.
like this is definitely got a story behind it. Like
Yeah,
there's a story here,
yeah, for sure.
and we're gonna have to write it.
Hmm.
Like some one of us or both
In
of
my
us
head,
are
it's that Yahweh, because Yahweh in all of the art, it's sort of a running theme where he's always zapping Fangs because he's picking on him, and he finally picks on him too hard, and it literally splits his little psyche, and then now there's this little like evil Fangs that's running around, and it's like somebody mentioned like the white rabbit. That's what that is.
yeah.
But he's in shadow, so it looks a little dark, but he's the white rabbit, and so then in my head he's gonna go and just cause chaos, and then Fangs has to go because it's his alter ego, so he's got to go fix all of his fuck ups and try to catch the white rabbit so that he can merge his psyche back together,
Yep.
and become a whole rabbit again.
Yeah.
I
Well, they
think that would be a funny story.
yeah, yeah, in the book we know I have the story of how he and Yahweh fell apart. So yeah,
Yeah,
they
they've
were
always been sort of rivals, and it's not quite his brother, but sort of they
yeah,
share
they're
they share they share a mother of
sort of
sorts,
kind
sort of, kind of, yeah, different exit strategy, but
yeah, it was fun writing that first chapter because I'm like, how
that
do
was
I do
really
the
fun.
R? That was fun. So I got the second one almost edited for you here. So and I'll probably give you permission to just change anything you still don't like. So it's the way
I
I do it.
was because you gave me the first round, and I was going through it, and the more I went through it, I was just like, no. I just mentally, I just couldn't. Like, the first one, I read it, and then like I was on it, like, so I felt like we were on the same level, and I was just sort of injecting just, my own chaos. But the story itself was like I could see it. It was there. I
Mhm.
couldn't. I just couldn't see the second chapter, and I was like, I don't want to be an asshole, but I.
Well, I need that kind of feedback because I also want this published, and so
Mhm.
it we're going to be pushing a lot of people's buttons as it
Yeah,
is. So there's no
just a
reason to
bit.
like over push them. Like I don't
Yeah,
need to be
yeah, it
holding it
was
down.
yeah, it was at a level that I was like, people are like, it's yeah.
Maybe.
She
maybe.
did have lots of poles.
Yeah, she had lots of poles. She has her
Hmm.
Asherah poles. So
Hmm.
depends on what you mean by lover to her. Yeah, you'd have to ask
Right.
Asherah about it. So
Yeah, she gets around.
she gets around. I mean, she is a fertility goddess. So there, I was like, uh, yeah, he might have been. I don't know if, see, Yahweh's kind of his own. We have really gone for, what can I say about him? Like, when I read the character of Yahweh in the Bible, I now get the idea of psychotic, narcissistic asshole.
Hmm.
And
A
so
very
it's
small
like,
team.
yeah, and so that is kind of why that's the way he's coming off in the book so far, is like
Hmm.
this very psychotic, unpredictable type asshole at times.
Yeah.
He's all
in
about
in my
himself.
head, he's got like an Adonis sort of body, and in that sort of classic Greek way where they always had the teeny tiny little weens. um and but because, like, there's the classic version with him with the big beard and the whole thing, but that's, in my head, you're the one with the beard, and so I just sort of picture like this sort of fuzz face, which is weird. Like, in my head, um it's almost like it's been like smudged out.
Yeah, kind
And
of like a blank face.
uh-huh.
It's more of a pencil smudge, but
Uh-huh.
like when he needs to talk, a mouth suddenly develops there
Right.
for him to talk, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
if he smells something,
Exactly.
a nose pops out, or if
Uh-huh.
he's looking at
But
something,
in
the
all
eyes
other
pop out.
contexts, he's just a
It's just
fuzz.
there,
Hmm.
fuzz face. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I got that image fairly quickly when you said it. I'm like, yeah, that's probably perfect, actually.
Hmm.
So, and that's kind of the way Yahweh's depicted. So, I mean,
Right.
Earl
Like,
hasn't
when people are
really,
talking about him, as being like
yeah,
spaceless, timeless, and so
yeah,
to
it's a
represent sort
void,
of that is just like, it's just a mush of, you
a
know,
void face,
right.
basically, kind of a void until something happens.
Hmm.
So, but yes, a serious. What do adults? Well, in the United States, I'm fairly certain there's a lot of don't ask, don't tell rules about what
Yeah.
adults do at Halloween. Pretty much,
Yeah.
like that's been my
Lots of
experience.
adult costume parties. I've been to several, begrudgingly.
Yeah, it's kind of an excuse to do a lot of other activities that normally you wouldn't be allowed to do. So,
Hmm. Right.
like in normal context. So,
Hmm.
but yes, that's
Lots of
exactly what
drinking.
happens.
There's always lots of drinking.
Lots of alcohol, lots of stuff. Like I've been to one or two since I've been out of the church, but I was always very uncomfortable.
Hmm.
It's not my comfort zone to go eat at a
Hmm.
party anyway. So,
No, not mine either.
I,
And
so
that's, because I was the party girl when I was like 18 to like 25. But from what I've read, because I always had social lubricants, I was a drunk for a long time. And I really couldn't function in public without alcohol, uh, some kind of something. Um, now I rarely drink anymore.
yeah, it's like I always had the church to do that for me, and so I could handle social context in a church. But whenever I would go to a party at any time when I was a kid or anything, it was like I'm always the guy in the back of the room just watching. Like
Hmm.
I don't feel comfortable participating. So
Yeah.
and
and
that
and
got
my
me.
bipolar disorder wasn't under control for a very long time, and so I'd go from being, manic, like the party girl, to being like I can't get out of bed. And just did that roller coaster for years and years and years.
That's possibly true. I
Hmm.
don't know, Michael. I think the original writers of the Bible were trying to do something. Like I like I was watching the one Apologia video with Kip, and
Hmm.
this is the first time that I've enjoyed looking at the Bible again in a long time. like I was telling my therapist about a Wednesday, like I've always been okay with it, but it's always bothered me because it reminds me too much of my time as a pastor.
Yeah,
But
triggering.
but after I watched Kip's video where he's talking about looking the story behind the actual pages of the Bible and trying to figure it out and decipher it, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I can now tell you that prophets are all propagandists. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they are doing.
Yep.
And and the way they imagine Yahweh is the way they think the perfect ruler should be. So iron fist, spontaneous asshole probably
Mm-hmm.
fits. Because that's the
Yep.
way a lot of the rulers were back then. They were very iron fisted. They were, doing evil shit just because they got
Authoritarian,
pissed off, very
totalitarian.
authoritarian. Yeah, very
Yep.
much so. And so, of course, their God reflects that.
Right.
So they're just
Yeah.
being their God on a smaller level. So
Mm-hmm.
cozy dinner parties, I'm not good with those either.
I was because my ex-husband was a lot. I was he was 9.5 years older than I was, and I was the trophy wife. I was his second wife, and I was meant to be all of the things. So I would routinely do dinner parties with 15, 20 people, cook everything myself. Um,
Huh.
and I was good at it. I was very good at it. And now I eat like a college boy.
Yeah, you don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, it's like a
No,
lot of things I just don't want to do anymore.
no.
So,
And because
yeah,
I live by myself,
sure.
trying to cook anything, it's like you end up with 8 days worth of leftovers, and I just, you know, so I end up throwing out food, and I have a really weird thing about throwing out food. It's part of my post World War II German part of that upbringing.
Yeah.
I had to eat,
Well, I got that
like,
too.
when I was a kid. We had to finish our meat, not our vegetables, before we left the table.
Yeah, it's like I
Because
had
meat
that
was
too.
expensive, and vegetables came from the garden, so it was you had to finish your meat
Yeah.
because that was the expensive part.
Hmm. And sang in front of thousands of people for it and it didn't bother me. But in a small group or one-on-one conversations, I freak out. Okay. I don't know. I think I'm the opposite of that. Like I
I
can,
um I was a ballet dancer, so it was I'd always have my first memories are panic attacks. I've had them since I was a very tiny child. It wasn't until I was in, goodness, maybe fourth grade. And then a teacher, it was during some kind of health class, and was like, "Oh, if you're experiencing like this symptom and this symptom and this symptom, like, you need to go talk to an adult." And I was like, "Wait, this
I
isn't
got
normal?
all.
Like, not everybody feels like they're dying multiple times a day." Like,
I can do the performance thing, and I've preached thousands of sermons, so being in front of people was never the problem. I don't even really have problems with small groups or one conversation. I just don't understand them. Like
hmm
it's usually the aftermath that bothers me of anything that happened because
hmm
people would react in a way I wouldn't expect. Like it's like I'm like I don't get that. So
I I I was in the concert band. It was actually sixth grade. This is another. I've been doing advanced psychology on myself since I was teeny tiny. It was sixth grade, and I had to do a scales test, and so you're doing it in front of everybody, and
uh,
I executed it perfectly. Went to the bathroom and threw up,
yep,
and it was the first time I'd ever had a panic attack and that had that reaction. And I went home and put myself in front of the mirror, had a full on conversation with myself. It was like, this is unhinged. You have to be able to do things. Like, it was so bad. It had gotten so bad at that point that I couldn't even order at restaurants. I had to like I'd tell my mom what I wanted, and she would say I couldn't speak in public, and part of that was having a stutter and being so self-conscious about that for so long. My one of my biggest fears is sounding stupid, and when you
Oh yeah.
sound stupid perpetually just because you've got this coming out of your face, it kind of sticks with you. But yeah, I had this full-on conversation with myself. It's like, okay, you have to be able to talk to people, you need to have friends, like this is gone too far, you've got to do this shit. And it was at that point that I decided that I would do something every day that scared me. And even doing something like this, I still have like a mini panic attack. One
Hmm.
of the main reasons that I was a little bit late is because I was
Oh, I
finishing that
figured.
art project. I had just finished and sent it to you. I was still in my jammies and put my makeup on. I have to do everything to the last minute where my brain's not thinking about it, and then get ready and then sit down because I will talk myself out of it and then have a full blown like
Yeah.
panic
Uh, I,
moment.
I I guess my long term in public speaking, I still have that twinge right before I go on every time. Like
Mhm.
it's there. I get you. I kind of figured that's what it was. We've talked about this before, so it's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I'm always just a
I'll
few
get
minutes late.
started.
That's
I'll get
fine.
started. Earl will be along shortly.
Yeah,
It's like
I'll be
I
here.
will.
If I don't say anything, like because when I say I'm gonna be somewhere, like I'm going to be there. If I make a plan and it's always like, yeah, okay, like I
Sure.
don't set it in stone, but if I tell somebody like I will have this to you or I will be there this day, this time, you know,
Hmm.
I will I will go through broken glass to make sure that happens. I do I'm not flaky in that way, but if it's one of those tentative like, oh yeah, maybe we can have lunch on, like 3 Thursdays from now,
Yeah,
it's like,
well, you got 3 outs to get out at at
right.
least minimum.
Even
So,
even with my job, doing fill-in, I just sort of grab um jobs, but I can only do it like maybe 2 weeks out.
yeah,
I prefer to just kind of like a couple days before, just grab a shift. Because sometimes I get to a point where it's like I can't people. I just can't people, and I will, and calling out has, and that's the other thing is that calling out has very severe repercussions where like if I get kicked off the platform, I can't work. If I can't work, I can't
yeah,
eat.
mm,
So it
yeah,
holds
yeah.
me.
So,
I have to find ways to hold myself accountable because I will flake.
yeah, so yeah, I do the same. Like every time I see I have enough time to just like take a day off without consequence, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's the same thing. But I'm trying to save up now because winter is coming, and there are going to be days I'm going to walk up to my front door, look outside, and say, "Nope,
yeah.
not today.
Not gonna
It's not
happen.
happening.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. I'm staying home."
I tried not to schedule 3 days in a row. I try to do like two and then a day off, and then if I can do two, because I just mentally I being in front of people all the time, at work, it's so draining. It having to
Yeah.
have your mask on for literally like 9 hours
Ugh.
is, and if I'm not like perfect and perky, then I get bad reviews, and then if I
Oh,
get bad
are
reviews,
you?
I
Did
can't
you
work.
figure out how to
And
play that role? Did you figure out how to play that role? And that's what you do when you go to work is play a
I
role, pretty much.
if you saw me at work, you wouldn't recognize me.
Uh,
My voice goes up like another octave.
higher register
Should
kind of
you
thing.
know? It's so, I mean, I hate it because it feels so, it's so against everything that's natural to me. Um and I feel like a fraud all the time.
Mm,
I hate it. It feels
yeah,
dishonest. I don't I it's hard. It's really hard.
yeah. And Brian showed up.
Yeah, hi,
All
Brian.
right. Oh, Coyote finally made it too. There we go. You made it.
Oh man, I
Or,
need to add another. I need to add a coyote, a coyote, or a heron.
yeah, or both, or some mutation of the two.
Oh
That
boy.
would be. I don't know. Yeah, I can. I mean, we got plenty of empty space, Earl, so we can always
Oh
add.
yeah. My
Oh
my
hell yeah!
plan is to like to where you've got like just a little outline around you and Fangs, and then it's everybody is it gets closer and closer. That's why I started on the outside and working its way in.
She's been around for a while, so she's been talking. I
Mhm.
Killed Earl is always a great one to talk to. I actually feel very comfortable with Earl when I'm streaming, so
You're the only
it's
other autistic person that I can tolerate. It, no joke.
yeah.
Because
I've
I've
noticed
spent
that
my whole life trying desperately not to be weird, and then when I'm surrounded by people that don't mask, I'm like you're saying the quiet part out loud. Like
Mhm.
I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, but I've always felt comfortable with Earl. I thought way back when we first met on the Kentucky Atheist, we were talking
Mhm.
about autism. I'm like, I don't feel weirded out with her at all. Like I don't feel like everybody else here in this room is weirding me out except maybe Azo.
Yeah.
And it's like, but not Earl. I'm like Earl doesn't bother me. So it's like and I left
I
that
seem to
show.
bother everybody else, so it's
So
it's
I,
good.
I guess I'm not scared. I guess
Yeah.
maybe I should be. And but
No, I mean I'm scary on purpose, and I like it that way.
so there you go.
And it's not necessarily by accident. It's a defense mechanism is really what it is. But it's also just I don't put up with bullshit. I
All
just
right.
don't. And increasingly, I keep encountering this on Reddit where I'm thinking that I'm being calm, cool, collected, empathetic, trying to connect with somebody, just, chill. Somebody's asking for advice and I'm just giving it, and then some dipshit will come in and put a comment on there and be like, "You're being really rude. Like you should, rethink your attitude." And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, uh, you know, I've been saying for a long time. Apparently, I have an aggressive writing style, but I find that people are just increasingly becoming. I mean, for lack of a better word, they're just being pussies. Like I just don't. I don't know when just being direct turned into being mean. But I'm fucking over that shit. Like grow a
Yeah.
spine, it's just weird. The pussification of the general public. Everybody gets triggered. Everybody, you have to have
Yeah.
like
Just I
code words for
it's
shit like unalived and it's like for fuck's sake.
yeah. It's like it's kind of why I hate a lot of the code words that you have to use even here
Hmm.
on YouTube. It's like I run an adult channel. These are basic adult words that describe things. Can we just
Right.
please use them, kind
Yeah.
of thing? Because I'll use an alternative. Everybody still knows what I'm talking about. So what's the difference? So
Right.
it's like, I'm still communicating. So, but yeah, I think I floored a couple of people one day. Like, aren't you offended by this stuff? Like,
Hmm.
last stream we kind of brought up he who not be named Jim Bob, but like Jim Bob has like a whole parody video of me, I guess, somewhere. I have never watched
Really?
it because I don't give a damn. Like,
Right.
it's like, I'm not like, I told him, like, the moment somebody offends me is the moment they have control of my emotions. Like they're in charge of my emotions and I'm not thinking clearly and I don't want to be there. So, that's why the rabbit ears on the hat. It's like I just don't give a damn.
Hmm.
I've got that point, but it's like I get why people get offended. I know there's a lot of emotional attachment to certain issues, but you still have to talk about them to get over them, like or get
Right.
past them or come to terms with them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's the truthful person that's just setting it out there and just saying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that's the person you need to listen to because
Right.
that's probably the one. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you don't use any freaking tools. You know,
And
I
I do talk with my face. It gets me in trouble all the time.
yes,
Um,
yes.
these
Earl is very
eyebrows
good at
are
that.
a whole conversation. When I used to get Botox, I made my mother keep this eyebrow because that is an entire conversation all by itself.
Yeah.
I,
So yeah,
I, I
she
had to have that because I need that was a convert like with my ex-husband. It's like
yeah.
I had to keep that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had to, like, speaking of exes, I had to give my granddaughter a hug because she
Mhm.
had to spend like 5 hours with my ex who was watching her. And you got to understand my ex, she's like, she can't see anything good in anything. Like, and
My
like,
little brother's wife is like that. It's
uh,
exhausting.
and so my poor granddaughter, like by the end of the night, she just fed up. Like
Mhm.
nothing was good enough for her, and nothing. And I'm like, so I'm like giving Jane a hug. Jane's a great little girl, and she's 11, and she's start very smart. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I am so sorry. And
Mhm.
it's funny because she says, I know I'm supposed to love Grammy, but she really bothers me sometimes. So,
Yeah.
and it's like, I get it. I was there
Mhm.
for 32 years, kid. Don't need
Yeah.
any advice.
Been
So
there, done that, got the t-shirt. Like
it's like, is that, I mean, like yours sounds like an abusive prick, and mine, I don't know, just too apathetic about the whole relationship. Like, you
Mhm.
don't give a damn.
Yeah, she
Like,
seemed from what you've said, like obsessed with appearances. Um,
but
you've said
not,
that she likes to be she liked to be the reverend's wife and that kind of shit.
yeah, oh,
But wasn't
that was the
actually
greatest
putting
crime I
any
ever did for her.
investment in the actual relationship.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I mentioned going back to counseling. It was like a big nope, like almost immediately. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we're not getting anywhere, like,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's one of those things where your relationship just dies because there's no connection anymore. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing there. And I don't know. It's just, I still deal with it, because my family still deals with it. And, it's like, every like I meet with my family every Friday, and like she will just show up like in the middle of it for some reason, like she's
Absolutely not. I wouldn't. No, absolutely not. Nope. 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 All the
and I'm like,
nopes. Nobody. Nope. 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 I
I'm
would
like,
be so
well,
fucking pissed if my ex-husband just walked in a room. Like I would lose my fucking shit. If I
yeah,
you gotta
big
warn me.
difference.
I need
You gotta,
warning.
yeah, it was kind of like I'm like, you really should have. Like I'm thinking to myself, you really should call or text the
Right.
daughter that you're coming, so
Tell
that she can
somebody. Like,
so she can let me know that you're coming over. But she
right.
does this so
At least
regularly, and
like
I'm like,
mentally you
why are
can
you here?
prepare, like
Like,
just
why are you here? Like, what do you need to be
that's a
here
control
for?
thing. It's a control
Yeah,
thing. She's trying to establish that she can do what she wants and be where she wants, and
yeah,
it's a power grab
yeah,
in my
but yeah,
opinion.
but it was just like, I'm like, why are you here? Because she didn't even come over. So sometimes she comes over to pick up like bills for my daughter because my daughter's like got 5 kids and soon to have 6, so she's
Right.
busy. So it's
Right.
like, can you do this for me, mom? Sure. I got to go to
Mhm.
work anyway. I can mail that out. So it's like sometimes it's that, and I'm like, okay. But today it was like nothing. Like she
Mhm.
was just there. She knows I'm there, and she showed up and didn't tell anybody.
Absolutely not.
And I'm like, now I'm gonna have something else to talk about.
Mhm.
So, my therapist thinks I get really good progress sometimes, and then I bring something back up to her, and she says, "Oh, damn it, the people in your life, they just need to go away." She says that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I I
what
have I have done, that several times with it's like take a look around and these people are not doing anything but driving me fucking nuts. Like and if at that point you dread being around them. Like, bye, Felicia. Like, I'm, I ain't got time for that. I
I
freak
was,
people out a little bit with how quickly I'm able to just sort of like, once I'm done, I'm done.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Like, there's a whole bunch of people I don't have a relationship with anymore, and people keep asking. So it's like, do you know? I haven't seen them for 5 years. Like,
Mhm.
it's like a lot of them from my church. Like, do you have anybody from your old parishioners that you still talk to? And I'm like, I had to think about it. I went through the list. Nope, none of them. Like, none of
Mhm.
them.
I don't talk to people that I went to high school with. I don't, although I did recently reconnect with my best friend in high school and discovered that she lives like 45 minutes from me
Well, there you go.
and has this whole time. So that's been nice.
But yeah, so yes, Fred doesn't want to go away because he likes it here.
I like it here too.
I like it here too. But yes, yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's been a good wild ride. So I've enjoyed this relationship has really worked for me. So I've enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
and it's nice to have somebody to talk to every now and then. Like, did you see this? And like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
So get rid of that guy. So
I I
yeah.
I pretty much all of my friends now are online, and I like it that way because I
No.
used to have friends in town and they would just show up. It's like, do you realize I don't people, right? Like,
Yeah, I get that
so,
at work a
so
lot.
when
Like,
they're online, if you're just having a conversation and then you get busy and you just sort of it just ends and then you pick it up later and then so it just feels less fake and it feels more like it's on my time and if I message somebody, they don't message me back, like I don't get butthurt about it. It's just like,
yeah,
okay, you were
exactly.
busy, just whatever.
Yeah,
But
I'm
the
used to
people that
being that
are
way.
like my friends, like they keep replying. So, like, I guess it's good. Yeah,
That's a good
I
thing.
prefer that everybody's online and I don't have to physically see anybody because I can talk to people still in my jammies and that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice too. And then for me, it's kind of like, okay, I've got this block to be social, and then I can shut
Hmm.
it off, and so that's kind of nice for me. So
Yeah, exactly. I need just moments of peopling and then like
yeah, time to go rest from that recharge. Got to
right.
plug my battery in. I've
I'm
explained it.
done now. You know,
That's the best way I've ever found to explain it. It's like, as I'm with humans, my battery is draining. At some
hmm
point, it will run out of juice. And
the
it's at
what's
that,
that? The spoons. I got teaspoons. I got
yeah, I got nothing. I
itty
got
baby
nothing
spoons.
left. I got nothing left for you. My battery level says 3%. It's time for me to check
Yeah.
out. Okay. See you later.
Yeah.
So, uh, your top pick is actually Sweden for somewhere else to move. Yeah.
I
Rumors
want to go to
here tonight.
Belize. I don't want to go. I don't go anywhere cold on purpose.
Yeah. See,
I'm too skinny and arthritic, and being cold
yeah.
physically hurts me. Like shivering will flare up my arthritis so bad to the point that like nothing fixes it. Starts in my lower back and my hips are super arthritic. It's just like bone on bone. You can hear it. It like grinds.
Uh,
It's gross.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it's cold outside, I want to live somewhere where there's no seasons and it's just hot all the time. I want to be mostly naked and don't want
Yeah.
to don't want to
I
deal with
couldn't do
clothes.
that.
Don't want to deal with cold.
No. Yeah, it's been good weather for me right now because it's cold enough where I don't have my overheating, but it's warm enough where my joints still don't hurt yet. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
hot
kind of right
hot
in
doesn't I since being older and I've got blood pressure that hovers like right above death. And so if I'm not careful, then being hot, I get real woozy, and being in the sun, I break out into hives. So I love the heat, but the heat doesn't love me that much. um, but as long as I'm in the shade, I'm fine. But it's almost I say that I'm allergic to sunlight. I really do. I break out into hives. It's so uncomfy.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like it either. That's mostly because of my vision. Like
And you're
bright light
so
just gives.
fair.
Yeah, I get like headaches just from bright light. So it's like
Yeah.
I avoid them. People think I'm weird. I have black curtains on every window, and it's like
Ever since
they're
I got
they're
LASIK, I've been more like glare sensitive, where
yeah.
it hurts right there. But I just buy cute sunglasses. It's easy.
Go to the equator. I don't know. That might be. That might be. Eh. It's warm all the time, technically, but they have their moments.
I get
So,
seasonal affective disorder real bad. Always have. When I start seeing the leaves fall, sometimes I just burst into tears. Like I have to fight it.
huh.
It's there was I remember, I mean, even walking the dog recently, and I'm seeing like leaves on the ground, and I was like, and there was one time this is when I was living in Asheville, which has like really profound falls, like so much so that there's a whole tourist industry with leaf peepers and all that kind of shit. And I was sitting at a red light, and it was real windy that day, and I saw this like tuft of leaves like move across the intersection, and just like just, I mean, lost it.
That's a regular occurrence around here right
And
now.
then
So yeah, everything's all the nice trees are orange and red and yellow, and right now, and
there's a lot of pine around here, so we don't have as
yeah.
much of the foliage. But yeah, when I was in Asheville, it's gorgeous. Driving on the Blue Ridge Parkway and stuff. I mean, there's an entire like huge like tourist industry that's surrounded in Asheville, just around the leaf peepers.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious. They come in droves. There's actually I don't watch Family Guy very often, but there's a Family Guy episode about the leaf peepers, and it's spot on. It's so funny.
I don't get migraines, Elizabeth. I get what I would call a very annoying level of pain headache from bright light. Like
Probably a
it
tension
causes.
headache, because it is it like
Yeah, it feels more like that.
because
Like
it's a
it's more a
splinting.
tension
It's your
thing.
muscles
Hmm.
and it wraps all the way around your
Like
head.
me and my sunglasses are well acquainted when it's a sunny day out. Like we get very, very things, but I don't get
I
migraines per se.
No, I was not affected. Well, that's a lie. It was really weird because I live pretty like just outside of Raleigh, so I'm kind of in the middle of the state. And here it was sunny and gorgeous. That day was beautiful here, and then it kind of came in at night, and it was raining. And to me, I didn't even realize that there was anything going on. And then I went to work, and one of my patients was talking about just the devastation in Asheville, and I felt like such an asshole. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And went home and started looking the stuff up, and was just horrified. And then my mother told me, which I'm glad that she did. She saw on Facebook a very dear friend of mine. It's actually my realtor. I met him when we first met, when we first moved to Asheville, and I looked him up, and he just had like all the good vibes. And he was this older gay guy. He had bulldogs, big, like the great big ones, and it's actually Bulldog Realty was his brand. And he would invite us to his house, and he'd have these little get-togethers where he'd have like local music and stuff like that. And so we got to be real good friends. And then when I got separated, I contacted him, and he moved mountains to get me into the house that I got afterward. Because like I said, I was homeless, right? And there was actually a couple who was touring that house. It was one of those little cookie cutter houses in one of those little cookie cutter neighborhoods, but it was brand new construction. And that house was the first one that was being finished on my little street. And there was a couple in there that were touring, and he was like elbows, like he moved mountains to get me into that house and make sure I was safe, and was just bad mouthing the shit out of my ex-husband. And then when my ex-husband ended up trying to move, because we bought a $500,000 house, and then he couldn't afford it by himself, and so he tried to contact the realtor, and he was like, go fuck yourself. But my mother told me he died, he drowned, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
Was last seen on the roof of his house with one of his dogs, and then they found his body a couple days later.
That's too
bad. Just a kind and fun and funny, and just why couldn't my ex have just
wrong person? Is that what you're saying?
Wrong person.
Wrong person.
Wrong person. The universe took the wrong person. Talk about woo.
It's just
unfair. It's just so unfair. And he took care of his mother all the time, and she was just this teeny little woman who was just a firecracker. She just had this smart mouth, and she was so funny, and took care of her until she died, and he went out, and I'm sure he was terrified, and nobody deserves that.
Nobody deserves that. No.
So I was not physically affected by that hurricane, but I was psychologically very affected by that hurricane. And I wrote a blog post and sort of an obituary kind of thing for him, because I've seen climate change happen my whole life. I grew up on the beach on the coast, where every hurricane took another house, and you see it rise, and it takes parts of the beach road and takes bridges and causes. I was several times delayed going back to school, because it's right during hurricane season, and was delayed for weeks because we couldn't get, it was flooded. We couldn't go back to school. So I've seen that kind of stuff happen my whole life. But that was the first time that there was a body, there was a human that was lost, and that's when climate change really, really hit me. And especially with, the whole political issue with FEMA and Trump politicizing it, and it was just disgusting what he was doing, and people were running the FEMA people away, thinking there was some vast conspiracy and shit, and it was just horrific. But that was when climate change really, because they're what is that, 3,000 feet? Like, this is like when you go up the mountain, you're going up the damn mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of the mountains, a whole hurricane. I mean, one of the places that I got like a ton of my furniture, it was just an empty warehouse. There was nothing left. The whole, the River Arts District was just gone. I still can't see pictures of it without losing it. It was awful. It's awful what happened. But just like Asheville always does. It came together. It is a very people-centric kind of place. People help each other. It's super hippy dippy trippy, so their motto is to keep Asheville weird.
Yep.
And they succeed. So it was the first place that I'd ever moved where I was like, I can do this. Immediately made friends. My ex-husband was totally out of his element, and he was so profoundly jealous because I have a hard time making friends. I'm a bitchy little weirdo, but I have made friends that I still have to this day, and he never had that. Even when we got separated, I was terrified to go anywhere because I was terrified that he would show up. And then when I finally kind of got the ovarian fortitude to go to our old bars and stuff, all the bartenders were like, "Oh my God, we liked you better anyway. Where have you been?" I had no idea, but they were like, "You were the cool one, we only tolerated his ass because you were here." It's like, I had no idea. So
yeah, it's amazing how that happens. Like
I hated having to leave, but I never felt safe with him around, and I was still a drunk then, and it's literally Beer City, USA. There's dozens and dozens of breweries there, and the party had to stop at some point, and also because it's a very transient and gentrified kind of place. All of the it's primarily service workers that make the tourist industry go round, and they don't have dental insurance. They go in for catastrophic care. They go in to have a tooth pulled or whatever. So hygienists are not in high demand. I couldn't find a job, so I went like this on a map, and this is where I landed. So,
well, there you go.
I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girly, It's just like I literally did this. It was just like, okay, I guess that's where I'll be.
We have a grumpy we have black kitties saying hello too. So
we like grumpy black kitties.
Yeah. So. Evan says he gives you a lot of contact-free hugs. So I don't know. Yeah.
Squeeze. E-hug.
Yeah.
I like e-hugs.
Yeah. They're not as involved. Not as physically involved.
The other ones, it burns us. Like little like a little golem.
Burn. What a great character. Yes, they are better than real hugs sometimes. Like you don't get all the nasty parts of it, but you get all the good parts of it. So it's good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. A coyote said he experienced hurricanes, but he was in the Coast Guard at the time, so probably on a ship. That would have been fun.
I've been in a storm on a cruise before. Holy shit. Yeah,
I can't do that.
The entire city doing this. It was really, really, really uncomfortable. I talk about queasy. There were people that had to get they couldn't even handle the Dramamine that went behind. Like they had to get shots. Like it was it was bad. And I used to have a boat, and generally, as long as I'm facing upwards, as soon as I look down, that's when I get car sick and stuff that way. But as long as my hurry up, come on, yeah. My phone keeps freaking out. Hey, chill. Hey, wait, quit that. Stop. There it goes. Okay. Fucking having a moment. As long as long as my eyes are up, then I'm okay. But as soon as I start looking down, it's like, but. I can't imagine being on, like an aircraft carrier. No, thank you.
My one friend was stationed on the Abraham Lincoln. He says it's a different experience on an aircraft carrier because they're so big and they're so
Yeah.
heavy. They don't hardly move as much as you think they do.
Well,
So, but
cruise ships are literally a floating city. I don't know if you've ever seen a cruise ship. They're
yeah,
fucking enormous. They're
yeah. So
they're like incomprehensibly big, and to still be doing this is just wild. Okay, evidently my phone's gonna freak out.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But yeah, he was like, if you really want to see something bobbing up and down, look at a destroyer, like a regular smaller ship that the Navy has. He says those are scary to watch in a storm because they're all over the place. So,
yeah.
but yeah, he says, most of the time I didn't notice a storm. They had to be big enough to move it. So
yeah, like the wind was so bad that like you couldn't go. They wouldn't let you outside because
Poseidon Adventure.
I had a 32-foot cabin cruiser, a Tierra, 1992. I redid the entire interior, restitched the bimini top, recovered all of the cushions, and redid the headliner, put in a head, all of this shit. Right before I got separated, and then saw pictures with his whore on my boat, and I've remained salty about that because I spent and plus my mother, because she's had like an industrial sewing machine that could get through the bimini top, and so she helped me do all that stuff. We spent hours and like taking the stitches out by hand. My hands were just like eaten up because bimini tops are real, they're canvas, so they're real rough. And it took all the skin off of my knuckles trying to get all those stitches out of there, and spent all that work. And then I tried to get the boat in the separation, but I couldn't swing it.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to argue over. So
I envy people. I had 2 houses, we had 3 cars, a boat, like, because he was new money. He spent as fast as we made it. I kept begging to just have like a teeny little cushion in the bank. He bought a $3,000 mountain bike. I found out about it when we got the first bill.
Yeah, that's always wonderful when that happens.
Because we always had this, like, if you buy something big, like, we'll talk about it. If it's under like, $200, just get what you want. But fucker broke the rules.
A lot, apparently.
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
That might count. Historically might count.
That's when Elizabeth said it. I was so blind to, because one, I'm just one of those people when I'm dating somebody, like, I got blinders on. I don't notice anybody else looking at me. I don't notice anybody else looking at them. Like, you're my person and that's it. And I'm hot shit. Why the fuck? What do I got to worry about? Right? And especially back then, I really thought I was hot shit. So I didn't even notice. Yeah. It wasn't until we were sitting in a Mexican restaurant and he goes, how'd you feel about, having a threesome with, said person? And I was like, excuse me? And he goes, well, you used to date girls. Like, this bitch had the ugliest tits I had ever seen. It was just like 2 little flapjacks. And I'm a booby girl. Like, I like big old boobies. And she's just little pancakes, just like hanging skin, I was like, it's just this, and she's older, I was like, what? Like, not my type. And so I was like, no, absolutely not. And then found her and him naked in my hot tub.
So, well, there you go. Now you knew what was going on.
Yep. That's how I found out about that. Asshole. So yeah, I never considered it. Had never been cheated on at any time before that. I am like infidelity is one of those things that I am, it's unforgivable to me. You break my trust like that. You are dead to me. Fuck you. Bye, Felicia. I am like, there is no coming back from that. I can forgive a lot of things, but I have 3 rules. You fuck with my time, you fuck with my money, you lie to me, you're done. You're done. There's no going back. There's no second chances. You break those rules, you're fucking dead to me. And when you do that, you're breaking all 3. And nope.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Yep.
just, I've never had that happen. So
It's the only time before or since. But you know. That's my red line. There's no amount of therapy, apologies, nothing. Hillary Clinton, like I can't even fathom taking that man back.
Well, you wouldn't want to. I mean, some of the other things, no, he hasn't changed. I can tell you that already. Like, I always love
well,
that.
of course not. But I mean, he's always been a whore. But like, to be a whore so publicly and you know, I remember, them singing, what was that, Tammy Wynette, stand by your man.
No,
Nope. I am not that girl.
No, I've had too many conversations with women when I was a pastor about that. I'm like, he's
Oh
not
yeah,
going
you
to
told
change.
me, some of that.
Like, he's not going to change. Like, he's going to
so
keep
much
doing
hanky
it.
panky going on in
Oh my God.
evangelical churches.
Well, it's like, I've told people there's a good rational reason for that. Like, you get done with a Pentecostal worship service, and it's like the same places in your brain that are going off for that are the same ones that are used for sex. So it's like, it doesn't take much of a emotional transition to move from one to the other. So
yeah, I had never considered that until you told me about that. I was like, makes a lot of sense.
So that's why there's a lot of infidelity in churches, because it's the same part of the brain that gets stimulated, and so it's just an easy switch. So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's like one of those. I came to that conclusion when I was in the ministry. It was like, these people, they don't know how to make the transition. But then I realized, it's when you think about it, a lot of ancient religions had sex in them, so it makes sense.
It was a big part of a lot of it for a long time. I've
all of a
always thought
sudden,
that was bizarre about the Bible, that it, you look at what's her face, the one that was having a bath on the roof. Bathsheba, yeah. You got like all that hanky panky, but wasn't the punishment that like
no, it's death.
Other women got boinked, and then her kid got it's like, what happened to him? Like,
like nothing.
Why are all the women getting punished, and that motherfucker just goes on scot-free?
Well, that was one of those that I always had to constantly explain, because the law is very clear about adultery. Like, you bring both parties out and you stone them to death. Like, that does not happen to David. David loses a few kids and gets yelled at a lot, but I don't think he ever gets justice for it. So, but
that's Bathsheba. Funny.
Yes, I think
I'm ashamed. I didn't think of that either.
I've always wondered about that, because it's like, okay, Bathsheba, is this where we get the word? Is this where the word came
Makes
from?
Sense,
bath?
Yeah.
Like, she's having a bath, or he's having a bath. Oh, like, is that you're bathing yourself outside where some dude can see you, or like, is that what's going on? Right. So, but
and having a bathtub on the roof.
I guess it would make sense.
I mean, I guess the sun would hit it; it'd be warm.
It'd be warm, yeah. It's like they had houses with flat roofs, and it was like, you'd go up there to hang out and stuff like that. It's if you didn't,
lots of places in the desert have
but if you didn't have like a palace next to you with multiple storage, it's perfectly private too. Like you have the walls around you, and it would be a private place.
Apparently not.
Not private enough though.
Not
If
private
the palace is nearby, and some guy's looking down, yeah, I'd like to get some of that. And so,
Swine.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing about David. It's like he's a man after Yahweh's own heart. And I'm like thinking about that. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I've kind of put that a little bit into the book because he likes to watch.
Yeah. Well, what Evan's talking about on the beach where I grew up, most houses have an outside shower.
Yeah.
It's where I did a lot of my hanky panky back then. You go to a vacation house. There's nobody there, but they have to keep the water on. So,
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yes, poor Uriah. Uriah the Hittite is like the unsung victim of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a lot of the tragic tales that have followed have been based on Uriah. Somebody gets sent to their death so somebody else can do some other bullshit behind the scene. So,
Shower Sheba is Bathsheba's sister.
Shower Sheba. Oh, Ron.
Nice.
Oh, nice, Ron. Very good. Very good. So there you go. But yes.
Beautiful.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Oh.
Well, I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was thinking too. So, but yeah, it's been a great stream with you as always, Earl.
As always.
Just a quick little art update. We got that, which turned out really well. But this one, definitely a Halloween favorite. And so I like a lot of the little touches in here. The spider up there that's just kind of coming off there. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
I normally do like sneaky hidden shit, and I couldn't find a background that was like really what I wanted, and so I was going to do like my own layering thing. I just ran out of time, so this will probably change quite a bit when I actually have time to fuck with it and get it just the way I wanted. But this was I was under a time crunch and I was going to deliver. So,
I think you nailed the white rabbit though. I think you nailed that part. That's pretty good. Probably needs to be, like, as you say, cleaned up a little bit. So it looks a little like you want it to, but it looks good.
Well, the rabbit's done. He's finished. I'm tired of fucking with him, but the background and, adding my own little, sneaky little touches here and there. I really like, putting in sort of subversive shit that just makes me giggle, even if nobody else notices it. I do stuff that represents certain people. It's how I show I love you, even if you don't ever see it. It's just
Yeah, but that's the latest piece by I Killed Earl. Great talk tonight. I enjoyed it very, very much. It's good to know a little bit more about Earl.
I've never talked about that publicly before. I left out quite a bit.
Sure you did.
But I wanted to keep this as light as possible.
Yeah, well, it's a light moment, but yeah, it's like, I'm glad you talked about it though. It probably did do some good too. So yeah, like you'll think about it later. And
it was part, to me, it's part of the deconstruction process, is because I found it pretty embarrassing for a long time, because again, I'm a very analytical, like super scientifically minded, rational kind of human being on 99% of things, and then that woo shit just sort of like just infiltrated at some point, and then with confirmation bias and circular sort of shit just kind of kept kept it going longer than probably needed to be, but
Yeah,
and
I get it.
still comes out in certain things, but it's part of the process.
It is part of the process. So there you go. Was it
Yeah,
therapeutic?
I'd say it was therapeutic, and Ed's one of the few human beings that I feel completely comfy talking about
Hmm.
the mess that is me. Um, so
There you
um,
go.
my teeth look very white.
Yeah, yeah. Very white. That's a good thing for a hygienist, I think. That's
I've
probably a
never had a
pot.
cavity.
Yeah, I
I,
can't say
I,
that.
I had 11 years of orthodontics because I was missing 6 teeth. This tooth here was behind my nose. I've had 4 oral surgeries. I had a palatal expander. I thank my orthodontist every day because I would have been homely as fuck. Holy shit.
Yeah, my oldest granddaughter's going through that right now. She has a lot of work
So
that she needs
painful.
done. So
They put shit in my mouth that they had never, like the little nursey techs had never seen before. I have a vivid memory of 4 women, so you're laying down in this chair, right? And then I should have been an orthodontist. They've got the cushiest fucking job. They come in for 5 minutes, they look at your models, they look at your teeth, and yeah, okay, everything's good. 90% of what gets done is done by the nurse, the techs, the ortho techs. They do almost all of the work. And because back then you'd have a little tray that was yours because you were there like at least once a month, usually getting your
mhm.
wires changed or new bands put on or whatever. And so you have a little cup, right? And with your ready for your appointment and whatever little appliance that needs to go in there. And I just remember the little girlies going, I don't know what this is. And then had to go get the orthodontist, figure out, how that was placed. What happened was that this canine tooth, it was behind my nose. They had to surgically go up, they attach it, they bring it down. They there's a wire there and they use this bouncy little string and they have to pull it tight and then attach it. It is ungodly painful. The nerve goes up underneath your eye, and so
Ooh.
you feel it, and I would cry. It was that painful, but my eyes would leak anyway just from that pain being up behind there. And I had this vivid memory of 4 women, just boobs, lots of boobies all over my head because they're like trying to get this thing in place. And it was because it came too far forward. This tooth is in a full fenestration. It sits outside of the bone of my jaw. And they were
Ooh.
trying to push it back in because they brought it too far forward. And so they were trying to push it back. So they've got this appliance that's like trying to push this tooth back. And there was like 10 millimeters of just exposed root right there. So I had a graft put on it. The tooth is still, it's never been right. Even after I had my braces on, mind you, 11 years, they wanted to keep me in them my senior year and keep me in them for yet another year into college. And I was like, I'm getting my senior pictures taken. I am 18 years old. You are taking these fucking things off of me now. I do not care if it's done or not. You're taking these off. And when I got them taken off, I had a gap between my canine and my lateral incisor that was like this big. So in some of my pictures, there's just like a black line right there. Furious. I was so furious. So my dad, being a dentist, he put like composite material in between there and closed the gap up. But
Just finished it up. Yeah.
composite it stains and it stains differently than your natural teeth, and regular whitening, white strips and stuff won't change the color of any, composite material. So it got replaced once right before I got married. So it was nice and white again, but it's been since then and it's still there. And so like half my tooth is a funny color. I hate it. So essentially, I can't get it refilled again. You can only do that so many times, and so I need like 2 crowns put there because I never want to deal with this shit ever again. So I still need shit, but I've never had a cavity.
Well, there you go.
After 11 years of orthodontics, that's unheard of. It's I've at least I've got that going for me because my brother got the cute nose, and his joints are fine, and
not you though.
He got like 3 chicken pox on him. I was covered. I still have scars. There's one here. There's like all over my back. I everything.
That's my one disease I've never had.
Everything easy, and I got the shit end of the stick on everything else. But
yeah. All right, but there you go. Normal joints are overrated. Okay. Dad being a dentist is a missing piece of information. Okay.
Well.
All right. Well. Yeah. Thank you for being on, Earl. I appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It was a fun night. Good artwork as always. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Curtsy.
Many head pats and all that, so you could get patted on the head a bunch and make you feel good.
I live for head pats.
All right, but everybody, thank you for coming by. I'm wearing the Holy Bunny hat, so I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a blessing of fangs with the Holy Hoodie hat on. So that's even extra.
Maybe nibble in your heart.
Yes, and it's Halloween still for another couple hours here in my neck of the woods. So that's an extra special Halloween fangs blessing for you. May you nibble on all of your hearts. May you always remember to put out that purified carrot with the circumcised tip on your stash to make sure he doesn't take your stash like it's now proven doctrine. Cranky, that's for cranky.
You need to find you a stash box. Don't you know about stash boxes?
They need stash boxes with locks and something. It may not work with fangs because he's kind of the god of thieves too. So
my dealer, who is one of my very best friends from she doesn't deal with any of that for me anymore, but she always has the coolest shit. All these little she brought out. It looks like a can of just regular soda, and she does this.
And it's something else. Oh.
And the best one I've ever seen. Some of them are Diet Cola or whatever. This looks just like a can of Coke. I was like,
yeah.
Coke in your Coke. That makes so much sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All right. Nom and all that. As always, live your best life, guys. You only get one go around at this. So you want to take all your time, money, and opportunities and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And
I'm a drive-by theist.
Do you have a drive-by theism?
Mm-hmm.
Atheism? Yeah, I see him. Yeah, you know what? After many years of theism, I would say the opposite. So,
right. You have to take accountability for our shit. You just get to, ask an invisible something, and then you're scot-free.
You're gone. But I'm going to close out the stream anyway. So I would take my opportunity to tell you all about that and our Lord and Savior things some other day. So, but there we go.
Come back. You can have all the bitchy conversations you want.
And don't waste your time on the trappings of religion and faith like this person, because it's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, thanks for stopping by, and I will catch you all next time.
It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land.